Pepperidge Farm members.
All right, so welcome to Duel of Galifar, Act 4, Scene 18, I believe, if I've done my Roman numerals correctly. This one, I've decided to give it a title of The Equinox Paradox. I thought that might be kind of fun. So, all right, Christopher, you were saying you recall what was swinging the last time we met.
So, if I remember correctly, the last time we played, Epoch and her army were storming the monastery. I had just killed the half Delker, half Quarry so that she could use her spirit to reinforce the barrier that Caleb was helping reinforce. And that was pretty much it.
And I now have a much better idea than stay and fight.
Yeah, we run.
And we help the monastery run.
I vaguely recall some DBZ shit I was doing in spirit form.
Yes. You were reinforcing the barrier before I killed the Quarry Delker hybrid. We gotta come up with a term for her. Oh wait, no we don't. She's dead. I'm just waking up, so.
Here we go. Let's see. Now I'm just trying to. There we go. Shift this over. Yeah. So that is accurate. You were battling against the siege engine that Epoch had brought to bear with the Redaran army. Caleb had been focusing through sort of a master crystal with some of the other monks. Miracle had come forward and merged her spirit with the shield. And that was sort of the last that had occurred. You all are still within the monastery. And you just heard like a sort of shuddering boom from outside and the slight shaking of these grounds themselves.
I think I'm still in spirit form, right?
No, you had just come back.
Okay.
So this is where you are. The Redaran army sits some distance aside, kept at bay by a psychic barrier that's now infused with the spirit of Miracle.
And there was a whole bunch of like earth elementals that attacked or something, right?
Yeah, they helped attack the army.
They did a ton of damage to the army, I think.
Yeah.
That as well as you had used like a shaped stone or similar spell, I believe,
right?
To also kill quite a few.
I think that's what it was. I cast a spell that the earth elementals or something like channeled through me or something.
Yeah, you basically made like that dome if I remember quickly, just squished them like by bring your.
Oh yeah, it was like a massive dome that enclosed them and just slowly sunk into the ground and killed them.
Play-Doh Fun Factory. Anyway.
Just.
Family.
Yeah.
And I do believe that was with an elemental named Gravestone that you had interacted with, and they provided aid.
Gravestone. So
I look around, and why were we leaving again? Like they were after something that we had or something?
We got set up.
Yeah, and we're leaving because there's a big army with siege weapons and giant mech thing.
No, we're leaving because it's an army and they have a siege weapon that they could easily take us out with. One of those times where you look at the situation and go, yeah.
Did I get the impression? But I mean, like, you just killed the woman.
You don't know about that yet.
To reinforce. Oh, no, I'm still talking out of character. You just killed the woman to reinforce the barrier. So why are we running? Because the barrier is not going to hold. Like
it's a temporary It's a temporary boost to the barrier at best.
Kill that woman for nothing. Okay.
It's to give them time. That's literally what I was told. It gives them more time.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, Caleb is like, I guess, stumbling around, trying to recoup after coming out of that crystal, and he just kind of puts a hand on Renakis' shoulder for stability, and he says, "Well." And just looks at you. Well,
I think it's time we left.
All right then.
You guys do see one of the monks, Rune, sort of step forward. He's also a little bit dazed coming back from the psychic projection. Do you guys think that's going to work? Do you think it's going to hold?
It buys you more time.
I look back at him and I just give him this bewildered like look, and I'm like, "Wouldn't you know better than me? Like, this is your thing."
I literally look at him and go, "It buys you more time, but it's not a permanent fix."
It might be best if you and your monastery evacuated.
Oh, this isn't the monastery. This is just one of our out chapels.
Oh, good. Then we should probably still not be here because that's an army and they're coming.
Well,
still,
our army's coming as well. We've had enough time to send our psychic messengers to summon more of us. We shall meet the Redarans at the border.
Okay.
You should probably still leave, though.
No, we shouldn't.
I mean, not leave, but evacuate them.
Caleb like starts standing up straighter, coming back from the psychic daze, and he goes like, no. That abomination piece of shit is on the border of this realm, and the only reason why we were running is because we didn't think we had a chance in fighting them. Now this motherfucker says that we have an army coming that's going to meet them. I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to go fight Epoch, and I'm going to knock her out, and then I'm going to drag her into the Tower of Time. What are both of you doing?
I agree with you. You know,
I think you're both dumb.
Well,
but all I'm saying is that I'm not sure this is a tactical, safe place to be right now with the army.
No, it's not.
When you say we're both dumb, Caleb just goes, "Well, Renakis," and he just jabs your chest with like a pointy like fingernail. Not shifted, so it's not like a claw, but it kind of like it's pointier than a human's. This is your mess. Are you gonna make me clean it up?
You do know that we were set up, right? That she wanted us here. This was a trap.
Ask me if I care.
I know you don't care.
It's gone poorly for her, this trap. She thought she was going to close the jaws around the neck of the prey, but the prey came back and clawed her in the face. Now it's a fight.
And I honestly can't leave these people in good conscience.
These people aren't helpless. It's not like we're saying, well, you're a bunch of civilian farmers and whatnot.
Exactly. Not helpless.
That battalion of Warforged.
We have an army coming, and I turn back to the monk and I go like, quick, numbers, army, how much?
Well, our advanced patrols will number maybe 15 to 20,000.
And how many people do I recall being in the Region Army after I squished a whole bunch of them?
Well, that's their forward lance, so I would estimate.
No, I'm asking the DM.
Oh, from your psychic projection about how you maybe scratched off like a 20th of their total army.
And how big was like the whole army? Like roughly estimate.
You would estimate at least the troops that you saw to be about 50,000 or so.
About 10,000 of them, so there's 40,000, and he just said that they have 15,000 for advanced troops.
Yeah.
Okay. And I just kind of Yeah, Caleb just kind of takes it in like 15,000. He goes like,
that's not 10,000 you took out. You took out a
20% of 50,000. 20% of 50,000 is 10,000.
No, what? 1/20th.
Oh, 1/20th.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you took down 2,500.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just, Caleb just kind of, woof, okay, that's going to be rough. But the barrier, you can strike in and out of it, right? There's a home field advantage here.
So long as the barrier holds, then yes, we actually can launch.
Look back at the crystal. Is there nobody else holding the crystal right now?
You see kind of like, the pictures from like World War II when you get that ash sort of imprint left behind from a nuclear explosion. Yeah, you see that up against the crystal in the form of Merkel. But other than that, there's no other monks that are now maintaining the crystal. But it's glowing quite brightly and is unblemished. It had been cracking before.
Yeah. So I kind of like the problem I have with that is that we don't have a warning system. Last time I saw men dying and I jumped in and I was able to hold it by the skin of my teeth. Now we're not going to have a warning if the crystal starts to go.
Well, we could exit the cave and try and get eyes on the army.
That's not what I mean. This crystal is the only thing holding up the shroud in this area of Adar, right?
Technically, this section, yes. There's similar chambers to this throughout the mountains.
Right. So what happens if this falls?
Well, it would be kind of like when you break a mirror. When one point fails, the cracks can expand almost instantly across the entirety of the shell.
Okay, so we're not talking about a partial collapse here. We're talking about the entire shroud shattering.
Theoretically, yes. I mean, it's never happened before. I'm not sure. It could just be that it creates a rift in this portion. Others believe that it'll collapse the whole.
Right. So now my fear of abandoning this crystal. Somebody needs to be here as a safety net. I'll do it if none of you are going to sacrifice your lives for it. But somebody needs to be here to make sure that that blast shadow is keeping the crystal intact. And when it finally gets depleted, somebody else is there to step in.
I wouldn't mind doing it, but I don't think I have the right sort of mental fortitude to jump in.
Caleb just kind of looks at Thry and he's like, Thry, I really appreciate it. I'm glad of your willingness to sacrifice yourself, but let's not put the eldritch entity in the other psychic eldritch entity and have them mix and explode. Cool.
You asked, I offered.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
But I turned to Renakis. Do you have any ideas on how to about this, since you seem pretty good in run tactics?
Well, he just wants to run.
All right, I'm not a skirmisher. My job has always been to infiltrate, gather information, and leave. We've infiltrated. We've got the information we need. We need to leave.
This isn't a mission for your house.
This is not a case of it being a mission for my house. This is a case of that is an army.
Yeah.
And we have an army coming.
We have an army coming. That army
we have time
here.
And we have time. I look at that shadow. Oh wait, I don't even know what that shadow is. Sorry, I keep metagaming that. And I'm like, so, and whoever that is, whoever that used to be, that's holding the shroud up.
That is the daughter of a Delkir and a Quarry. And she is dead, and her spirit is...
Hold on a second. You fed Dalker energies to this thing?
I didn't do anything. Well, I did do something. I killed the thing. Her spirit, of its own volition and own ability, did that. I didn't do that.
All right.
Would you like to go and ask the nice quarry downstairs what the hell is going on? Because we can go do that, too.
Remind me who that is.
Miracle's mother and the master of the temple.
Right. Yeah. That's a good idea. She might have more information. And I whisk out of the room and downstairs.
I head down there too.
I'm going to get in front of them and lead them to the chamber, and hopefully that thing has not dissipated to the point where it can't help us anymore. Because as I recall, it was very close to the end of its life when I was there.
Oh, right. She was a ghost, right? Wasn't she?
Barely holding together.
Okay, so you guys want to return to that main chamber?
Mm-hmm.
The one where I encountered the quarry that said, Miracle was, it's basically its daughter. It and Zethandrix's daughter. There we go.
Being wrong.
Do you remember her name at all?
Yeah, I can't help you with that one.
The master?
What was that? What do you see, Brandon?
He was finishing off the spell for the Necronomicon. Klaatu, Verata,
There we go. Sorry, my cursor froze for a minute. Fuck. Oh, okay, that's super weird. For some reason, my cursor is just not responding.
I said, I think it might be just the master, but I'm not sure.
She had a name. It's been so long I can't remember.
Yeah.
Normally I'd have taken a note, but I've reformatted my computer since then, and
so that's I Shushila.
Thank you.
Yep. So Caleb enters the chamber. Do we still see her like in ethereal form?
Yep. I mean, I'll turn on her name bar thing so you guys can see that. There we go. Yeah, when you re-enter the chamber and you see her, she's just sort of squatted down on the hand of that outstretched statue above the pit. Her form just sort of morphs a little bit as it had before, where she was facing one direction and then suddenly she's facing towards you. She's weeping.
So creepy.
Yeah, so Caleb enters the distance about this far away, and he just says, "Your misbegotten daughter's spirit is merged with the shroud. How much time has that given us?"
Oh, that's tact, dude. Tact.
Caleb just ripped that bandage off.
Yep.
Ren is just like, well, really? A little bit of tact? Little bit?
I look over my shoulder and I'm like, she was a spawn of Zoriat.
She's still somebody's child.
Aishushila, she fades for just the briefest second and then actually begins to become sort of solid enough that she's glowing slightly and emitting just a faint glow. She's less transparent than she had been, and you sort of see a firiness, not an actual fire, but like a resolve sort of.
Oh, good! You've made her mad.
Yep, I know.
Seems like to smack Caleb.
Miracle is dead. She She fused her spirit with the shroud?
Yep.
I believe. I think she should have noticed because I'm pretty sure she told.
Yeah, she told me that I was
to do
I
that.
had come to a point where I was going to have to make a decision whether or not to kill Miracle, and I chose to kill her.
Is that out loud, or is that
No, I'm reminding you about what happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just didn't know if you were saying that out of character or in character.
Out of character.
And Alcater, I believe she, the master here, i.e. Xandra, did tell Ernakis about this, and what he should do is up to him. So she probably would have known that she had already done this.
She whispers in your ear, Renakis, as her form appears next to you. You have chosen your fate. You have chosen a good path, a hard path, but a good path.
Yeah. So her spirits merge with the shroud.
Ren just responds when she like shows up and starts whispering in his ear. Still creepy.
This is all well and good. Congratulations, we killed the abomination, and she's helping. That's great. Okay, so how much is she helping?
Can I just smack Caleb?
You can try.
I am uncertain how long her spirit will hold the shell, but I just don't know. She was unique. She was a miracle.
Yep, that's great. So how your man upstairs? He said that 15,000 troops are coming. He said that those were the advanced scouts. Do you think she can hold on enough to the shroud to keep it powered enough for the entire army to get here?
I believe that is possible. It just depends. That siege weapon that abomination has brought to our shell. I've never seen something like that before.
Didn't we destroy it?
No.
Not a character.
No.
I attack it.
No, we just reinforced the shield.
Could have sworn I did something to affect the siege engine. All right. Anyway, I'm like, okay, so how long will it take for your country's forces to get here?
Well, I sent a ping to them, and they responded immediately.
You sent a what?
Say what?
You sent a what?
A psychic ping. A message. A mental image.
Okay.
So far, 12 of the monasteries have responded and are sending forces immediately. Our numbers should total somewhere around 70, perhaps 80,000 strong, but it will take many of them 2 to 3 days to reach here. One of the downshots of us bringing up the veil is that it hampers some of our psychic powers.
All right, so somebody needs to stay here and make sure that the crystal can hold until the whole army gets here.
Well, we do have agents on the other side of the shell as well. They are destined to assist us as best as possible.
Is there a route I can... and this is Ren saying this here. Do you know if there's a route I can take that can get me by that siege engine?
Yeah,
that was my next thought.
Because I feel it seems like to me, prices that no matter what we do, that sea engine needs to go. Thinking of what I haven't seen it. What is it? Is that something you've never seen before?
It was like a mobile monolith, right? That was channeling the power of the monolith network.
Yes, a conduit of sorts. It is connected to the other Hanbalani Atlas. We have instructed some of our cells to attack the nearby Hanbalani and hope that it would disrupt the network and destabilize the engine.
I turned back to Thry and Renakis, and I'm like, the monolith that we passed on the way here, I think that was the last one in the network that was feeding the siege engine.
And that was the closest one that was feeding the siege engine.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. DM, sir, but when I was watching this monolith, when this siege engine fired, I could see the strands of psychic energy coming through on the horizon into a single point, right?
Yes.
Like it was all channeling to the nearest monolith, and then from the nearest monolith into it.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So then I respond to Renakis and I say, it's the closest one and the closest link to the network. All the network's energy was being fed through the closest monolith into the siege engine.
Brian looks to the master. Now that this army's here, and destroyed whatever, he looks to the master and asks, are the defenses stop teleportation still active? Because we've been there before, and I could teleport my group.
The shroud will block teleportation.
Yes, unless you exit the shroud.
Let me check how many I can teleport.
I have one wild shape left.
And up to 8 land creatures. So, well, I would be able to teleport my group and 5 others to at least nearby to the monolith.
Yeah, we just need to get down the mountain first. Is there a tunnel that we can leave and pop outside of the shroud from here?
Well, yes, there are multiple fissures and tunnels and cracks throughout this entire region. That's how we travel undetected by the Redaran armies and their scouts.
And they don't know any of these exits?
As far as I'm aware, they have not discovered our caverns.
And how dangerous are these caverns?
Better question. How much of these caverns did Epoch know about?
I am uncertain of Epoch's knowledge. However, our caverns are relatively safe close to the monasteries. The further you travel from one, the more dangerous they become, but down to the valley floor should be perfectly fine.
Yeah, it was only what, like a couple hours since we got up the mountain to get here or something like that, right?
Yeah, and you would be traveling downhill, of course, which will be much faster.
Right.
Tuck and roll. Just tuck and roll. Fastest way to go.
Yeah, I've been playing Mario Odyssey, and that's, yeah. You just do the Mario roll.
Question. We still have, like, some stuff that the farmer gave us, right?
That the what?
That the farmer gave us when we entered here, right? Like, he
Gave us
took, like, a blanket or something for help with the skies. Maybe some food, too, I think.
No, I think I just wild shaped or something into...
He basically just gave us food. He gave us food, and he gave us an extra sheet that I tried to use to hide Dingus, and then Dingus was like, "No, I'm good."
Man, I really wish I had one more level of spells. to be just to double check. We're 14th level, right?
Right.
Not 15th.
I have us as 15.
Do you really?
Yup.
Me too.
Oh, I'd never leveled up.
Well, if we still have that seed, that would help me with teleportation.
Oh, sweet. I get my first 8th level spell. Can I pick my 8th level spell and have my 8th level slot without taking that long rest because I leveled up?
That's fine.
Okay, sweet. I'm like, I could take care of the monolith once we get there.
And it is leaking less, but it's still weak.
Brandon, what are, I guess, OOC, what are you kind of getting at with your request?
Basically,
And so
in order to help me teleport, having an object from that location
I'm trying to figure out how to
can really
some guy.
would help me get to like.
Well, we just saw
I got
we just saw it like yesterday, right?
Right. So that'll probably be like casually seen. That's very familiar with something I have to study or a place I can actively see.
That's
Well,
true.
Or we could teleport to the entrance of the tower and make our way from there.
We could, but I haven't. But
You are literally part of the tower.
So with the associated
the
object,
tower.
Brandon, I'll kind of rule liberally and say that, you know, the food, because this was created on a farm, would be objects associated with the location.
Right.
Because it's literally like fruit from the trees that are there on that farm.
Right.
Other than that, I would say that you spent enough time there that I would consider it sort of seen casually.
Right.
Because although you were really only there for a short time, I think it's more than viewed once. The Atlas, of course, I think would be more of viewed once. You saw it from a distance, but you're not familiar with that location.
Although Ronakis did, Chris did put in a point. I could just teleport to the tower since the tower's door is at the farm. I'm not sure if that might be better or not.
Yeah, you could teleport to the Tower of Time if you wanted. I mean,
No,
like you're saying, you would be outside of it.
No, I think we should go straight to the monolith.
Well, the problem with that is I only seen the monolith once, and there's a higher chance that I might mess up the teleportation. The farm is still relatively close by, and has a greater chance of me teleporting successfully.
How far was the farm away from the monolith?
He was at a mech.
Half a day.
Half a day. Okay.
And we would be flying, like I can put
The board, right? On a board.
What now?
We would be like flying or like going like really fast, so we probably could get there pretty fast.
Yeah, I could get there pretty fast. All right. Yeah. So that's good. Yeah. Teleport us back to the farm, and then I can fly there. All right. All right, so that's the plan then. We lead us to the caverns, give us like maybe a map of what would be the closest route outside of the shroud, and then we'll teleport to the farm that we arrived on, and then I'll go over to the monolith and I'll take care of it.
And I can also teleport 5 others if you can spare the minute.
We won't need them.
There's 4 right now. We're doomed. There's 2.
Actually, I would say bring them.
Okay.
But first, why? What do you have in mind, Caleb? Nothing.
When I say I can take care of the tower, I mean I can take care of the tower.
You mind telling me how?
Don't worry about it.
Caleb,
Out of
I
character.
don't think this is a good. Caleb, I don't think this is a good time to be coy.
Out of character, you're gonna earthquake the tower, aren't you?
I don't want to say.
He's gonna earthquake the tower.
It would have been cooler if you just let me do it without having to explain everything step by step.
So Aisha Shula, she vanishes for a second. You see her form reappear down within the sort of hoard of treasure and coins that you've seen at the bottom of this pit. She opens a chest and pulls out an object, and then appears directly next to Renakis. She holds out her sort of ghostly-like hand, and you see within it, because you can see through her hand, it looks like a pearl. And she turns her hand over and offers this object to you.
Thank you. I'm not supposed to throw this too, am I?
This is called the Orb of Unfixed Destiny. It is an object that is highly sacred. You can crush it with the force of your fist and determination. It will allow you to change one outcome. Use it wisely.
It's a luck roll. All right, cool.
So for game mechanics, yes, it is very much like a luck roll. However, it also would allow you to change an outcome of a decision, not just a dice roll.
Oh, cool.
So,
Nice.
it allows you to sort of modify down a different path of time, so to speak.
And me, Crushes, we're running.
But you have to use it within a minute of the decision that you've witnessed and desire to change.
Okay. Thank you. I'll use it as wisely as I can, and I stow it away in a pocket.
I should mention.
Caverns.
I should mention. I need a rest to get my 7-level spell slot back to teleport.
Oh my god.
We
don't have time for that.
We really don't. You should have.
I'm sorry. I just looked at my sheet and I just saw that. I am sorry.
I'm like, I turned to look at the woman. I'm like, you wouldn't happen to have a pearl of power, would you?
She vanishes for a second and appears directly in front of Thry, reaching out both of her hands to touch either side of your temples. You see her eyes glow brightly, and then her form fade quite a bit more. Now she's more transparent than you've ever seen her. In her spectral form even like stumbles a bit, and instead of vanishing and reappearing, she actually kind of walks over a little bit of a pace and then collapses down onto the ground, sort of sitting side saddle on the ground. But Thry, your spell slot is recovered.
I feel bad.
Good, you should.
Can I give her some of my lesser spell slots?
God, no.
We don't have time.
I turn to look at the woman and I'm like, who do I have to ask for a map through the corridors to the nearest place out of the shroud?
A map? Well, I could just lead you.
Who am I talking to? I thought I was talking to the
Rune.
Yeah, Rune, Laneth, and Danon have all Danon have all entered as well.
Danon is a different guy from the one with the bush.
Yeah, this isn't Danon, the bush guy. This was one of the other monks.
Okay. And I'm like, all right.
This was one of the guys that were in the room with that aspect.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I turn to look at the one who spoke, and I'm like, and I just look at him, and I pause for a beat, and I'm like, well,
you're ready to go now?
Yeah.
Well, then what are we waiting for? I guess.
Exactly. Go. And I just shoot him off. Like.
All right. Are there any just final actions, information, anything you all want to do?
No.
Or exiting?
I'm gonna hang back because there's something I need to ask her that I would rather Caleb not hear.
Fry just profusely apologizes to I don't know how to pronounce that.
The lady.
The lady.
The ghost lady.
I profusely apologize to her. I promise I'll make this count.
So what are you, I guess, are you apologizing to her because of the death of her daughter, or?
Because he sacrificed, I'm guessing, a good amount of her life essence.
Oh, okay.
To give me that 7th level spell slot back.
Go.
As master of the temple, sacrificing oneself to protect the greater good.
Yeah, that's all nice. And I just grabbed Thry by the shoulder and I out of the room.
All right, so Thry, Caleb, Rune being pushed forward as well, I suppose. Danon and Laneth all begin their journey outward.
All right. As soon as they're like out of the room, I look to make sure they're like not immediately in earshot, and I go, "Do you know where he is?"
By he, I'm assuming
Thandrix.
that's who I thought you meant. At this point in time, I feel his spirit locked within a distant realm. Believe he is in a land referred to as the Ashen Spires.
Okay. Because I have a feeling whether my friend's not going to like this, but we're probably going to need his help at some point.
Oh.
Hi, from Fort Wright.
So,
Hendrix, despite his base nature, is not what people assume of him.
I am well aware. I imagine that whatever happened between you two, whatever magical backlash there was, changed him. It's the only way to explain his actions so far.
It was the essence of our daughter that it was like dropping some sort of cleaner in filth and vile. It brought a purity amongst it. More like, I suppose, boiling impure water. Her love changed him. Her death, I am afraid, may have some other impact as well, though.
Why do you cause all the problems?
Yes,
I mean,
well,
like, to be fair, Caleb should really be the one that's like guilty of everything, right? Like, he's such an asshole. like you keep causing all the problems, man.
We don't know if this is a problem yet.
yes, well, I have a promise that I have to try and keep. And if it backfires on me. That's why I wanted to make sure they weren't here when I asked you.
She reaches out her spectral hand and touches you lightly on the forearm.
I think at this point, like, as they're having this tender moment with like reaching out and touching each other, there's just a bellow of Caleb down the hall going like, "Renakis, come on!"
Oh,
I just ignore him.
Don't forget about. She gave you tears, right?
That's the promise.
Okay.
All that I could add is you can trust him with your life, but do not tempt him with your soul.
Yeah, well, I've done enough things where I'm pretty sure I don't have one anymore.
At that point, Caleb,
and I dash to catch up with them.
Caleb, like you turn around and Caleb is like already like standing in the doorway, like, "Come on! You can talk to the nice ghost lady when we come back." He just walked away.
Hey, he called you nice. That's the nicest thing Caleb said to anybody.
It will never happen again.
Caleb was very nice and respectful to Elaine. He was not an asshole to the tree.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't. He had legitimate concerns that he raised politely. Back me up on this, Noah. Right?
It's been too long. Noah can't remember.
I do not believe that he insulted the great tree in any way, shape, or form. The others around the tree, that's different.
Yes, all the other druids, yes. The great Elaine, no.
There was respect given there. It's not every day too that one watches the death of the greatest druid in the world.
Yeah, that was pretty heavy.
He didn't care too much about the ceremony, though.
All right. Path out, tower. Let's do this thing.
Okay, so you guys are able to be led by Rune through the tunnels themselves beneath the monastery and the mountains. The paths are quite winding, but it's really breathtaking as well. Multiple times you sort of open up into these massive underground caverns that could easily hold entire cities within them. The various structures of the stalactites, stalagmites, and other cave features are really just kind of astounding. It's not an environment that you all have been terribly familiar with, and the caves are vastly different than those that you had seen back in Corvair beneath Kyrie.
Imagine this like sort of doubles like Caleb's effort in this, but I'm not sure if he cares so much about nature.
I mean, yeah, Caleb is like he's fascinated by all this nature that's vastly different from any other biome he's ever been in before. Is there like underground lighting that I can see these massive caverns that are city sized, or is it all just dark?
No, most of it actually is pretty well lit from the phosphorescence created by various mushrooms and lichen that grow naturally on these walls. These caves are fairly damp, and there are underground streams and rivers. And in fact, not long after you leave the monastery, you come across a rather large myconid colony, very much like the one that was in the caves you guys were in. But you guess that there is either hundreds or perhaps even thousands of these myconids, and they take on many, many forms, not just human forms. Some of them appear somewhat similar to animals. There's creatures that would be like giant moths that are floating around that also emit a phosphorescence. It's really one of the most breathtaking and beautiful things that Caleb has ever seen outside of the forests.
Are there any shriekers going off?
No, that's just Toad.
No, you actually, during this portion of the journey, you actually feel quite peaceful and safe. There's really nothing at threat in this part of the environment.
Okay, good, because I was going to burn them if they were going off.
After a few hours walk, the passage of time is actually somewhat difficult to measure beneath without a sky or stars to reference. But you assume that it's a few hours worth of walking, and the caves begin to stop their incline, or rather decline, and now incline back sort of upwards. And not more than just a few seconds before you emerge outside, the caves get lit up by sunlight streaming in through a large fissure. But by large, it's like perhaps the size of a small boat. It's not like a huge gaping hole in the ground. And as you come out of it, it has been covered quite a bit in overgrowth. So the entrance is fairly well hidden. But when you emerge to be topside, you can hear the sort of off in the distance, the echo of perfectly timed, precise marching. And you would guess that it's perhaps a half a mile away or so. And you can hear the clattering of really large beasts and grinding noises of large machines moving.
Right. I look around and I pick up a rock in the area, and I hand it back to Thry, and I'm like, for the return trip, and I give it to him.
All right.
Give a good look around.
I look to the
study it carefully. See how the slope of the mountain comes up, and see how the valley rises over there. See these trees, this overgrowth over here. Look at its color. Look at its shape. Study.
I know, but the rock is fine enough.
Doesn't the rock, doesn't having possession just increase the familiarity by one level?
Oh, it says here associated object looks like 100% on target, if I'm reading this correctly.
Oh, okay.
But I looked at the monks. Are we far enough away to teleport?
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Rune sort of looks around a little bit, and you see his jaw drop slack. And his eyes are affixed over onto sort of the horizon, which draws your attention as well. And you can see that the shell that had been around there before, that you had really only seen through that crystal, in fact now appears to be a literal crystal shell that is obscuring your view of the mountain ranges.
Well, I think we're on the other side of it, so go ahead, cast that spell.
I do I ask the others, the other 3 monks, do you wish to come with us? Or do you want to return to the temple and help defend it?
Well, Rune sort of snaps out of it and looks over at you. I think we can do more good with you than in returning to the monastery.
All right. Tell everyone, okay. Hold on to each other.
Is that literal or figurative?
Like literal.
Literal. And I
thought it was like plane shift. It doesn't. It just they have to be within sight.
I know, just flavor.
Oh, okay. Because I know for plane shift you actually have to be touching.
Right.
Hold on to each other. Renakis, no. I've had a bad day.
Caleb puts a hand on your shoulder and he's like, "Don't worry, we got you."
And I cast teleport. So imagine given Fry's connection with temporal magic, I sort of imagine it works like rewinding time to back where we were there. Sort of the flavor with time stuff.
So you guys just see Thry all of a sudden all
I sort of imagine the whole world but us is doing that.
But what about the guys that are with us? They've never been to that farm, probably.
I don't know. I'm just trying to describe it with time stuff, since that's sort of what I'm trying to go down this route with Fry.
Sometimes you can't flavor things the way you want to flavor them.
All right, fair enough.
You can't make a unicorn a bat.
Then it would be a batacorn.
All right, so
you cast your spell, and since you have the object and whatnot, I think your chances are
100%.
Yeah. So let's poof you back to the farm, I suppose.
Okay. Was the monolith within sight of the farm?
I believe when you were journeying is when it became inside of the farm, but I don't recall that it was when you were at the farm itself.
It was to the east, though. I think I recall that.
Yeah,
when you
went skybound, you could see it, but from the ground, you couldn't.
So the second that we teleport and we're back at the farm, Caleb wild shapes into like a sparrow, like a really fast moving bird, and he just takes off in the direction of the monolith without talking to anybody.
Fry unfurl his wings and start to fly for the first time with them, and
Rin yells up to both of them, "I hate you both!"
Oh, come on! You have dash as a bonus action.
Yeah, I can't do that for an entire day.
If you want, Fry could pick you up.
No.
So
and the monks are monks.
So, like how fast would like a peregrine falcon be? Like the fastest bird that I can think of.
That would be a peregrine falcon.
Yeah.
That depends. How many coconuts is it holding up?
Well, they're the fastest on a dive, right? The peregrine falcon,
they even without a dive, they can fly about as they can keep pace with some jets that aren't like at hypersonic speed.
Oh Jesus!
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a reason. Their speed is the reason why airports use them to take birds out, because there's pretty much nothing that's faster than them. So what they'll do is they'll have falconers come, and if there's a problem with birds, they'll just send a falcon after everything.
What if it had like 2 coconuts tied to it?
So how fast in a round? What do you think the fly speed of a peregrine falcon is? 120 feet.
240 miles an hour.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I only have 60 per second, so that's each round
Considering it's within, you can see the atlas, I'm going to say it's going to be a lot closer than 240 miles. So I would assume it would take you maybe 10 minutes to fly to the atlas from here as a falcon.
Is there an area around the little monolith that's like a perch I can stand on. That's within 500 feet of it, but like out of sight, like any like ground forces or whatever.
Sure.
Oh wait, hold on. There was like refugees on the monolith, right?
There's what?
There were like
in it.
refugees on the monolith, right? Like innocents.
Yeah, they were like sleeping in it at like shelter or
Yes.
something.
Oh, refugees. Yes.
Shit. Okay. All right. What about soldiers? Like, wait, I'm doing like a loop around. Like, what do I see when I'm looping around?
So you can see the atlas itself. Of course, you know you're familiar with the shape. It's sort of like a large bullet.
Mhm.
It is glowing with a brilliant emerald light. You see that there are sort of arcs of this green energy that are coalescing here from multiple locations across the land. You just see these sort of, right now they're quite thin, but they are arcing across the landscape. And you can see a much larger arc that's shooting over towards an amassed army.
Right. And do I see people?
Here you definitely see refugees that have set up camps around the base of this atlas. You don't see any of the Redaran troops themselves.
All right, no troops. Okay. I as a bird.
Time out. Before we go much farther. Brandon, don't you have the fly spell?
No, I swapped that out.
Another easy one is you could.
Why?
It's
Because
a mortal fear of Jeff Goldblum.
and I needed the I need, you know. Sorry.
All right, so I land kind of like right in front of the refugees, and I turn into my normal shifter form, my normal humanoid form. Then I shift right in front of them, and I just, in my most intimidating method possible, I just say, "This place is not going to be safe in 10 minutes. Get out."
Yoink.
The refugees like all look over at you, and you have no reaction for like maybe 2 beats. And then they just start screaming and they start grabbing like their belongings as like just whatever they can get their hands on.
When there's like that 2 beats after the first beat, I cast Thunder Wave, and there's like a big like crow of thunder.
Okay, then that's what spurs them on, and you know, they're just grasping for what belongings they can grab and leaving everything else, and they literally scatter like outward, not in bulk.
As soon as they are out of 100-foot radius of the tower, of like the center of the tower, I cast Earthquake right on the tower.
And that's when Renakis shows up on board. But
I don't think I gave him that long. I think I got there way before everybody else, right?
Yeah. I'm like trying to find the rules for overland movement.
You create a seismic disturbance at a point on the ground you can see within range. Range is 500 feet. For the duration, an intense tremor rips through the ground in a 100-foot radius centered on that point and shakes creatures and structures in contact with the ground in that area. The ground in the area becomes difficult terrain. Each creature on the ground that is concentrating must make a constitution saving throw. On a failed save, the creature's concentration is broken. When you cast a spell at the end of each of your turn, you spend concentrating on it. Each creature on the ground must make a dexterity saving throw or be knocked prone. The spell can have additional effects depending on the terrain in the area as determined by the GM. Fissures, structures. The tremor deals 50 bludgeoning damage to any structure with the ground in the area when you cast a spell and at the start of each of your turns until the spell ends for up to 1 minute. So that is 550 damage, I think.
All right.
1 minute.
And let's see, concentration, duration, 1 action as well. All right.
Well, I actually need to know how far away the Hanbalan is.
Like distance wise?
Yes.
So now I'd say 30 miles.
Cool. I'll see you in a day.
I mean, to be fair, you would probably outpace Fry,
No, that's
even though he's flying.
That's with fast movement. That's me moving at my fastest speed.
Yeah, and Fry only has like 60 feet of flying.
Right? Watch yourself, Mara.
So you probably outpace.
He can't dash for 8 hours of travel. That's like some Spartan marathon bullshit.
Yeah.
You would die eventually.
I literally, because I found a chart for travel pace for 5e. It's the Roll20 compendium.
I mean, I'm just gonna take an hour to short rest and get my wild shape back and come back. So.
So to give you, I guess, if I'm going to do some math to back up my statements, it would technically be about 40 miles. I think if I did my math right, because
that would be more than a day.
Yeah, if the Falcon travels 240 an hour, and I said that it was about 10 or so minutes away, then that's about 40 miles.
So I thought that the monolith was like half a day way of normal traveling pace from the farm.
Yeah, wasn't it? Yeah, I thought it was
Then it would be like 12 miles away.
Yeah.
Then I'm comfortable with that. I mean, ultimately, you're gonna arrive there after Caleb's cast his spell, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. Instead of it taking a day, it takes me 3 hours.
So it's 550 damage, enough to bring the monolith down.
So as soon as you cast the spell and the atlas begins to shake, you see this this little girl kind of step forward holding a stuffed bear, and she's like, "Mommy!" And the Hanbalani atlas collapses.
On her?
No, I'm kidding.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, your spell begins to shake the atlas, and when it does so, you see large sections, big panels of material you're unfamiliar with begin to collapse away from the side of the atlas, exposing the interior, in which you see what appears to be a large column of crystal. It begins to splinter quite a bit, and you see this greenish light begin just to kind of pour out of it from multiple stances or places. You start to hear these sort of crackles and pops, almost like somebody's making popcorn, as ports of these shards begin to fling outward. You immediately get a sense of extreme danger while this atlas is shaking.
I'm still like 500 feet away from it, right?
As long as because you're casting at your sort of maximum distance.
Yeah.
Yep. But you definitely, I mean, that sense of danger and peril increases quite a bit as your spell continues to shake and tear at the foundations of the atlas.
I still concentrating on the spell. I look at the refugees. Are they still like are they running for the hills, or are they like milling about, wondering what's happening?
They're at full tilt runs in like every direction. They've scattered.
Okay, so just quick double check to make sure that there's no little girl going, "Mommy." And I'm going to keep concentrating and ignore the sense of danger.
What is that from, anyways?
It's from Noah being a wise ass. That's what it's from.
It was like a movie reference or something, like Independence or something.
No, it's just trying to make Caleb into a murderer.
It's sort of that reinforcing of making rash decisions that they can have consequences.
This is not a rash decision. This is the perfect solution to the problem.
I concur. That's why no little girl with a teddy bear exists at the bottom of the atlas.
Yeah.
It has been fully evacuated of refugees.
Yeah. See, now what I could also do to help the entire nation of Riedra is sleep a day, then Peregrine Falcon to the next monolith, earthquake that, then sleep a day, Peregrine Falcon to the next monolith, earthquake that, and keep going. Just get rid of the entire network of Handalay Atlas, which I might actually have to do because I'm a gatekeeper and I know what these are for now.
And at your level, that's actually achievable.
Right, yeah.
Didn't Ranaka say something about getting involved?
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
yeah.
I remember. He said, do get involved.
No, I said don't get involved.
Right. No. I'm pretty sure you said do. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No,
No, I remember distinctly. You said we should.
I said don't.
With that, Renaka, he wants to help these oppressed people. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what he said.
You're both gonna get stabbed. And now I have a nice little dagger that lets me do it multiple times in one shot.
I do agree. I do think that it was do not. However, since it was 2 words and Caleb reads exceedingly slow, he stopped after do.
Whoa. Caleb reading slow. What are you shitting me?
That is totally in character for Caleb to just not register the thing he doesn't agree with. He just says, "Dude, okay, fair enough for me."
Sure, yeah, no, I can. That's perfectly within reason for Caleb to just ignore what he wants to ignore. Reading slow? I haven't told this motherfucker. That's above average.
No wonder he keeps burning those books. He hates reading.
I could see it like in Dumb and Dumber, where he's like all ta he ta da ta. They're all
No, Caleb has a 12 intelligence and a 20 wisdom. No way he reads slow. Are you kidding me?
Okay, so what you see, of course, the atlas continues to shake, and then you really more and more of those side panels fall off. You start to see some really large support beams kind of peel off and collapse to the ground as well, exposing this large green crystalline structure inside.
And I'm just standing there the whole time with like my hands outraised, like Moses, like holding my Aberrant Slayer spear as my focus, and just like.
Caleb's used magnitude 7, super effective.
8. It's an 8th level spell. So.
Yeah, but magnitude has a variable effect.
Let my people go.
To sleep.
So what you do also notice is over in the distance. Well, actually, you're ground based now, right? Because you're not in bird form.
Unless there was like a hill or something I landed on.
I'll give you a semi-clear view of what occurs next, which over towards the crystalline shell that now dominates most of the, or a portion of the horizon.
Hold on 1 second. So if I'm shifting right now, my passive perception is 25. So.
Okay, well, so that gives you a pretty good way to be able to see what transpires.
Right.
So you can see that the electric arcs that are coalescing to this tower with one distinct one, like while you start casting the earthquake spell, that beam begins to sort of thicken, and it's going over towards the siege engine that's pointed at the crystal sphere. It's drawing power from this atlas, and the atlas itself is brightening and glowing in color as it's drawing energy from the surrounding Alkali.
Is this
your
like
connection.
the same last time when I was...
Hold on, your connection kind of sputtered.
I'm good now, right?
Yeah.
Is this the same kind of glow and building up of energy that I saw when it fired the last time from the other side?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so I try to like I'm willing the earthquake to rumble harder.
So you see huge, like almost lightning bolts beginning to arc out from this atlas itself as it's charging up with power from the other Hanbalai from the surrounding region, and then suddenly it all just sucks in to the middle. And you actually feel yourself you don't like move forward, but you feel yourself kind of get pulled forward for a second. And then it grows exceedingly bright, and you get the feeling that you need to get the hell out of there.
I do not. I keep my spell going.
No, I think you mean it's probably going to explode already, so you should probably get going, but you know.
I keep my spell going for a full minute.
Yeah, and you just see it happen in an instant. Mm-hmm. It explodes, boom, and it shoots this energy like beam directly up into the air. Okay. The energy beams that were connecting to it and being sent to the siege engine falter immediately, and you see this beam of light that's shooting up from the now destroyed tower is beginning to grow outward very, very rapidly. and you just see like the surrounding trees, the little huts on the ground, those things, they vanish almost instantly. And the light from this psychic energy is beginning to kind of sear at your eyes, and you feel an immense heat coming off of this.
Right. I'm on like a little rise, like a hill, right?
Sure.
I don't have any more wild shapes. I used my last one because I didn't want to take the short rest. So I don't have a quick way of getting out, which is why I wanted to make sure I absolutely did the job.
Roll on the other side of the hill.
Oh wait, no, that's the wrong hand.
Oh shit! I don't have any of those spells.
So
Press
imagine
F to pay your respects.
1 second.
So imagine like pride flying as high as you can, see this light, like immediately blindness starts falling from the air.
All right, I cast protection from energy to resist fire, and then I just start running down the other side of the hill, trying to put the massive earth between me and that light, and then booking it.
Just Jackie Chan down the back of the hill. Bad day, bad day, bad day, bad day.
Bad day. Yeah.
Did you guys ever watch the cartoon Jackie Chan?
That's where that's from.
Yeah.
I remember liking it quite a bit.
Real quick, hey Noah.
Yo.
You never made me a handout for Time Splinter.
Oh yeah, that's right. The dagger.
You know, I hope,
just as a heads up. Anyway, Caleb on the back of the hill.
Let's see. I think I actually have that on my phone.
So what chances Caleb can in their morning lands?
66% chance.
Well, I heard him, Anthony. Roll D100.
Sorry, what? What happened?
I was just joking around, like, what the chances are you made in their morning land?
Right,
And Chris says 66.
Well, Sarlona now has a more lines. Anyway.
Man, this feels good playing with you guys again.
Okay, let's see.
How have you been, Anthony?
Been pretty good. Yeah, I had a nice vacation. Spent 2 weeks in New York with my family. It was pretty nice.
How's the GM Guild stuff?
GM Guild stuff is cool. I haven't been paying a lot of attention to it recently, just because of the holidays and stuff like that.
Right.
We're working on a new adventure path with like the whole Eberron Discord community, trying to build something together. It's been pretty cool.
I have not stepped foot in the Eberron Discord in a while.
Yeah.
Just because of Keft.
What's Keft?
Keft is one of the people on the Eberron Discord who literally turns everything into an argument about rights of transgender. And I'm like, I'm not done. Can't. I've literally had to mute the community multiple times because of her. Because it's like it could have nothing to do with the discussion. She's normally an off topic. She's the one who constantly brings up the Vistani argument.
I mean, she hasn't done that in like months.
I haven't been in it in months, so.
Yeah.
So can you give me a sneak peek of what the adventure path would be?
The adventure path is going to be so the group, like the kind of like imprint that we're doing, is called Across Eberron, and it's going to be multiple seasons of like story arcs. The first season is going to be called Manifest Destiny. Yep. And it's
Maker's Almanac is at number 9, by the way.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Sweet. Like, wow, that's kind of surprising because it's been a while. Not number 9 for Eberron or total?
Number 9 for Eberron.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like within the top 10 of everything when it released?
Oh yeah, it got up to like number 1 for like a couple hours, and then it stabilized around like number 4 or 5, and then like a couple like 3 weeks after it released, it was further down.
Yeah, that's a good compliment, man.
Thank you.
Threat dispatch is at number 26.
Yeah, I'm looking at monster book.
Nightmare is at 32, and Zindric Advisory is at 35. So they're still doing well enough where they're in the top 50.
Yeah, I'm making about like $500 a month in royalties.
Dang, that's badass, man.
Yeah, and like the months that I like actually like release something new, it's more like around like 1,500. So yeah, it's pretty great.
Have you considered doing something for Magic Gathering if you're into that?
Was that?
Have you considered doing something for Magic the Gathering?
No, I mean like my muse is really Eberron. Like I love the setting so much, and I've been creating stuff for it for years.
Yeah.
Or like been wanting to convert stuff from prior editions.
Yeah, Brandon, the only MTG stuff that's community open on the DM's Guild is Ravnica.
Yeah. I mean, it would be cool to do stuff for Ravnica, but I just like there's still so much I want to do for everyone that I don't want to.
Like what?
My next book is going to be called Map Perilous. It's going to be basically a gazetteer of like NPCs and some monsters that you can use in each region. So like there's going to be stat blocks for like sailors and ship captains and like first mace and stuff like that then you can apply like almost like the cult mechanic from Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes to add flavor for the sailors and whatever like principality fleet that they're from. So like if you have like the blood sails, they'll have like necromantic spells or something or abilities and stuff like that. And if you have stuff from like Mika's Cloud Reavers, they might have like barbarian-esque abilities like reckless attack and stuff like that. And then like I'm gonna be doing something like that for like basically every distinct region in Corvair. So like Demon Wastes, Talenta Plains, Sire, the Moorland, Breland, all the 5 nations and stuff like that. Like each one is going to have their own individual thing.
Right.
All right. So what's happening?
This is taking just a second as I'm referencing the damage after typing up that dagger.
Okay. Thanks for asking about that dagger when Caleb's life was on the line. That's cool.
Tension.
I'm running down this hill and I don't know if I survived or not. Awesome. So real quick, Noah, did I destroy the thing before it could fire the beam?
Yes. It was charging and was getting at the pinnacle to fire when you brought it down.
Cool.
So you got maximum kaboomage.
Yes. Worth it.
All right, go ahead and give me a con save.
Oh boy.
And at that moment, Anthony knew he screwed up.
No, it's
guidance.
It's completely worth it, even if I die. Well, it was good playing with you guys.
You still have like a buttload of HP.
Just because it can be more fun that way, I'll give you the option. Do you want to roll the damage, or do you want me to?
You go ahead, roll it.
Even Fry could survive that.
Hold on. Is that fire damage because it was heat?
Psychic.
Psychic. Damn it. Okay.
Even without the hero piece, Fry could easily survive that.
Yeah,
So you're fine.
I have
Only damage, but fine.
114 with the Hero's Feast, so I'm down to 39. Yeah, so I'm running down the hill, and this wave just kind of gets me, and I'm just like, I just scream in pain and start tumbling down, fastest way is to tuck and roll. And then, like, just screaming, and then I come to a stop, and I'm, like, holding my head, like, I'm bleeding from my eyes and nose and whatever. This is just 75-second damage is no joke. But when I'm done with it, I stand up and just kind of
Imagine Fry's like flying fast as he can towards the obelisk, focus on it. Then the explosion happens. He's blinded, get thrown out of the air.
Well, and you guys see the full-on like atomic bomb, like mushroom cloud, like.
Oh Jesus!
Fry gets back to his time in Kyrie in failing to stop the Morning Lands.
Yeah,
so I sit down like in the nearest place to rest, and I just lay down for an hour just looking at the sky.
Hit dice.
And Brandon, it's interesting that you mentioned that because it does like this experience while you're flying towards it does really spark like some PTSD inside of you over the destruction of Kyrie. The parallels between the experience, they're not lost on you. And in fact, it sears in your mind how similar this explosion was to what you had experienced then.
And imagine like seeing this Fry or confirms himself that when he does destroy Epoch and head back to the past, he will make sure this won't happen to Kyrie again.
And as you're flying, you actually get buffeted by extreme winds coming off of this explosion.
Oh yeah, no, like I said, like Fry gets blinded and fall out of the sky from both that and the explosion.
Plummet to the ground, and Renakis is on his way to the Atlas as well when this explosion occurs. Of course, he's still far distant. What is your movement speed even slower than Thry's?
I mean, if I dash, I have 60 feet of movement.
Okay, so yeah, you're still a distance away because you're over there like running like a Kenyan trying to get to this thing.
Dash, bonus action dash.
Ryan, you gotta jump that behind you.
Best runners in the world. So yeah, that's sort of what occurs, and I suppose that while Caleb is lying on the grass with his like near miss at death and his mind somewhat foggy and blank, is when Thry flies overhead and Ren not too far behind.
I mean, Ren would be
quite a distance behind.
Yeah, so like when an hour passes, I'm coming back. So
yeah, I'm Fry's like looking at you, trying to examine you, snapping.
I think it would still even be half a distance, half a day, like maybe 3 hours before Thry could get there, even with flying. Because if moving at 30 feet is a half day's travel, that's like 4 hours of travel. So he could get there in maybe like 2 hours. And if I got there in 10 minutes and then took an hour or two long rest afterward.
Like I always felt like the 30 feet within the turn is like the person sprinting.
No, it's about yeah.
It actually gives you like a breakdown. So because Noah said it was like 4 miles, it literally says moving at fast is 4 miles for 1 hour.
He said it was half a day's travel.
That's if we move
30 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't dash for 4 hours.
You're right. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not entirely here. So
or we could, do this with dramatic timing and we arrive there because Dory.
Well, I think it would make most sense if Thry sort of arrived in flight while Caleb was resting after the explosion. Because I mean, just assuming that he would be flying about as fast as, say, something like a crow, which isn't a terribly quick bird. They can fly 30 to 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when we get there, you see like Caleb all like messed up.
Yeah, as you're flying above, you're just looking at all this devastation and like all this wreckage, and then like behind one hill is just me laying on the ground perfectly still.
Yeah, I go over to him, snap, get some of my equipment out to get like a healing potion.
I look up at you and I just kind of like, hey, Thry.
Are you? You know what? You're not okay.
No, I'm fine. I just have a splitting headache, so if you could just stop shouting.
Or if you've ever watched Archer, he's like all mop, mop, mop.
Mop.
Mop. Yeah. I just he tells you to stop shouting, even though you weren't.
You want tinnitus? Because this is how you get tinnitus. All right, you have successfully exploded the monolith.
And I get a short rest, right?
Yeah, because you're spending an hour or so kicking them around.
All right, so I'm gonna roll 10. Let's make it 8d8.
Why are you doing that while flying up? Like,
8d8.
if every of the like siege weapon, is it like deactivated or is it like attacking but weaker?
I wish you saw the beautiful move.
What's your question, Brandon?
While he's doing that, I fly up to get like a better view of the siege weapon.
Oh, okay.
And like, is it destroyed? Is it not working? Is it like working but it's weaker?
I suppose how close to it do you want to fly?
I'm probably staying the same area. I'm just flying up to get a better view.
Okay. Man, look at you with your hit die burn. You almost completely shrugged off this explosion.
I'm going to use more hit dice and completely shrug it off.
So Thry, as you sort of do reconnaissance to get more information, you definitely can see that the siege engine has stopped any sort of movement or activity. You would swear that even from this distance that you could hear Epoch screaming at the people surrounding. You can see some sort of energy coming from her towards some of the people around her, which you then see like little puffs of smoke. And the army itself is in a slight bit of disarray at the moment.
I fly back down. Well, that stopped the siege engine, and Epoch is very angry by the looks of it.
Bitch. Yep, I'm back at full, which is more than normal because I still have the Hero's Feast going. Yeah, so after you come back, I finally like moved from my perfectly still spot on the ground and just kind of get up and I'm like, all right, let's get back to Renakis. And I launched into a peregrine falcon and fly away.
Before flying away, just look once more around the carnage of the area before unfurling his wings and begin flying again to Renakis.
Yeah, there is quite a significant amount of devastation in this area in pretty much a perfect circle outward from the Atlas. And even after an hour's time, there's still remnants of this large kind of mushroom cloud, though it no longer has the sort of stalk of the mushroom. It's just sort of the cloud part up in the sky. In the sky is continuing to arc with flashes of this greenish psychic lightning.
So I fly back the way I came until I see Renakis running, or
It would be me and the monks.
yeah. And I fly down, and I turn back into Caleb, and I'm just like, see, they didn't need to come. Told you I got it.
Like he's just looking at you, shaking, because he obviously saw that explosion. There was no way he didn't.
Sure, yeah. Caleb isn't trying to hide that it's there. Like,
I mean, yeah, I feel a little bad for all like the devastation, but you know,
it's like 100-foot radius of devastation. Who cares? Or okay, wait, no, not 100 feet because I got caught in the blast. Now I was 500 feet away. So it's like 2 football stadiums of devastation.
that is still quite a lot of carnage.
No, not really. Nobody died.
That you know of.
Nobody died.
That you know of.
Nobody died.
Plants died.
I turn back and I look at Dry, and I'm just like, they weren't sentient plants.
He's not there yet.
That was Al character. That was just an Al character joke.
Okay.
Well,
Not
and
to mention he wouldn't be there yet.
Rune and the other monks, though, they stop and they're just looking around and sort of in the distance where that explosion had happened, and they're kind of flabbergasted. Rune is like, what happened? How? I don't understand.
I happened.
What did you do?
I destroyed one of the Hanabli Atlas.
You destroyed one?
Yep.
I didn't even know that was possible.
Anything man-made can be brought down by the forces of nature.
And they're sort of looking around and they're like, well,
Time out.
What's
You've
up?
acknowledged that they've blown up these Hanbalan before, Noah.
say what?
You've acknowledged that they've blown these up before.
The destruction like this, though, is sort of what is keeping them flabbergasted, especially
Yeah,
coming
and the
from
fact that
England.
one man did it. It's just a short time. And plus, look up
At a resource.
facts in his time of his 8-level spell.
So you were saying, Noah?
Wait, we haven't heard the voice since the explosion.
What voice?
The soothing voice, the voice that they broadcast outward to control the populace.
Oh, I barely even noticed that. That's good. Yeah, I think when we're done here, I might come back and visit this whole network of Hambalai and destroy all of them.
If you did that, it would free the people from the control.
Well, that's a good byproduct of my intention.
That could bolster Adar in an unbelievable way. We might be able to topple the Empire.
That's great. Yeah, I'll put it on my to-do list.
I love how Caleb is like feeding his ego with this.
No, not really. He's just matter of fact about it.
Yeah, the other monks are sort of like conferring with one another. What? And then Rune turns back towards you. What are you people?
I am a gatekeeper druid.
Insane. That's what we are. Can we just... Where's Thry?
Lying in.
Caleb kind of bristles at being called insane. He's like, there is no madness in what I do.
Where's Thry? Like, he's not even going to acknowledge. He's just like, where's Thry? I need to yell at him.
He should be on his way. His wings are a lot smaller than mine. Slower, not smaller.
Well, I assumed that Thry was with you because actually, no, he is slower because you turned into the Falcon.
Yep.
So he's kind of in the distance coming toward. All right, so are you guys just going to kind of wait to regroup? Are you going to head back to the farm, or you
wait? And so as it takes maybe an hour for him to catch up to me, I'm just could have been a lot faster if he just stayed there. I told you guys I had it.
Someone strapped the choke.
Well, either way, What's we
Well,
do now?
we're just waiting. We're waiting for you for an hour, basically, for you to catch up.
Yeah, but Fry gets back. Okay. So, what's the plan now?
Now we make our way back.
All right. So
It took us, what, like a day to get to the border of... We're going to need to rest.
So, I guess we're probably asking, are we going to go back there on foot, or are we going to wait until I can teleport us again?
I think we have to wait. Either way, it's gonna take a day to get back to the trap.
Do we have teleport for trees?
We do, and I could do that to save your 7th level spell slot because it would only be 6 for me. So I can definitely get us there, but we're gonna have to wait for a long rest because I already have that expended today.
Chris, do you have catnap?
That would be more appropriate for Caleb anyway.
Also, catnap I think is a short rest, right? Not a long one.
Also, why would I have that spell?
I just thought I asked. I'm not sure what's in your spell, but yeah, like Fry asks you guys in the monk, should we go on foot or rest up to teleport?
Well, we can go on foot and it'll take us a day, and then we will be without resources, or we can take a day and rest, and then we'll get there with resources. So
makes sense to me. Renakis.
We take the rest. They have time to regroup. They start just wailing on the outpost.
Okay. Either way, they're going to have time to regroup because it's going to take a day to get there.
I'm aware.
So what are you saying? You want to get there exhausted? You can go ahead and walk. I'm going to sit here and wait.
No, it's not that. It's I'm letting you know what's going to happen.
Seems like a lot of complaining to me.
But now the intent, from what I'm hearing from you guys, is that you want to go back to the front.
To be honest, Ren doesn't.
My intent is to go back to the Tower of Time, take a long rest inside of it, and then once we're rested up, go back to the front.
We should probably also tell the farmers to get out because they're probably going to send like a small contingent to the area where we blew up the tower.
It's not a probably. It's not a probably. That they are going to send someone to see what the hell just happened.
The farm is also a half day's travel away, which is not usually within like the perimeter of checking something out. Like the distance was a long way away.
Yeah, but this is something.
No, but there's going to be questioning.
Sure.
Ammo depot. They're not going to send.
I'm saying like a perimeter of 14 miles is pretty huge. You know, if they're going to canvass every living person within 14 miles of that monolith, it's going to take them like months.
They also have Epoch, who will probably let them know that, hey, these people have a way to move really, really fast around. So a short circle is not going to work.
I'm not talking about where we are. I'm talking about their ability to check where we are. It's going to take them months.
Not unless they got scrying.
What are they going to scry on? We're going to be inside the Tower of Time.
Yeah, part of the challenge would be as well that with the Atlas down, it severely dampens their abilities.
Fair enough.
I'm just saying you guys need to stop worrying. Just because I did it doesn't mean it was wrong, all right?
No, I'm
not saying it was wrong.
I'm tired of all your complaining and bitching about every single thing I do just because I don't wait for your decision, your approval to do it. It was the right call. I'm fine with it. Let's go. And I just walked towards the Tower of Time.
So are you guys going to return to the tower or what?
No, we're returning to the tower.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's what we're doing after. That's timber.
Well, after in the morning, I'm casting Tree Stride back to the front, and whoever wants to come with me can.
Well,
And
let's ourselves take a short rest,
Yeah.
so I can both get rid of some soda and as well as get new fresh soda.
Right.
And he's doing it again.
And Anthony, like, I wasn't like questioning your like.
Oh, that's
Where
all.
am
That's
That
all.
was all
Yeah.
Caleb.
Yeah, it
That was
does.
all Caleb.
Anthony's fine. Like,
So, out of game, just because, like, I don't think us returning to the front is a good idea.
I think it absolutely is. Unless you don't think that Epoch is going to be at the front for some reason.
Don't believe she's going to be dumb enough to stay there and wait for us to come back. She knows we're the only ones strong enough to take that out like that.
Widow's coming up on your right.
So you think we should head back to the tower? You think she's going to see it right there?
No, I think she's going to go straight to what the next phase is what's supposed to be, which is to go to Arganessen.
You think so?
Yes.
'Cause
Us,
she wanted something from the shroud, right? Like I think for the because what we knew about the apocalypse future, right, was that she got some kind of mind control magic.
she already
think
had that though.
I don't
She-
think she
she-
did. I think she
No,
needed something in the shroud, something within our. I think she needed something within Adar to do it.
right,
Like,
but
I don't think she was coming after the shroud just for us, right?
That's the thing. I think she was. I think that she knew that we already knew that she was going to be there, and she set it up as a trap.
yeah, because like when
That's
we
also
went,
probably why she left the chunk of herself to find.
because like when we got there, she already learned whatever she learned there.
Right. She was already in the shroud.
Yeah.
So
So
she's
us
probably
return-
here doing this for cleanup. She's most likely doing this for cleanup.
No. This was a trap. This was set up for us because she knew that we were going to be coming after her.
I don't want to get to the bathroom now.
So that's why I legitimately think us returning to the front is not a good idea. Because returning to the front tells me that we're going to get there, she's not going to be there, and we've already helped the monastery as much as we can because we've taken out the siege engine at this point, which was their major point of contention. That's gone now. Now they have home
Can we
care.
scry on her? I forget if that's possible or not.
We have a chunk of her. So I should be able to scry on her.
Right. So we can scry. We can scry before we take a long rest to figure out like if she's already running from the front.
Oh,
or
most
if she's-
definitely.
Yeah.
I legitimately don't think she's running yet. It's too soon after.
I want to know if she's on her way to the tower. Like if she's like, holy fucking shit, what was that? And she's like, she's coming to the tower to inspect it or something. Because I don't think I legitimately disagree with you that she was only attacking Adar for us. Like I feel like there had to be a bigger reason why she was doing that.
If you mean by the tower, like the Tower of Time, I don't think she knows where the
No,
doors
not the tower. Sorry, the monolith.
are. Okay.
Yeah.
No, she's most definitely going to be sending people after that monolith to see what the hell happened. I don't think she's going to be dumb enough to come herself.
Well, see, the problem with phrasing it that way, Renakis, is that now if Noah was going to have her come there, now he's not, because now you just called that plan dumb. And he's like, oh, well, I'm not going to have her be dumb, apparently, because I want her to be a cool villain. So I can't have her do that, because then one of my players will think that she's being dumb. So
What strategy talk did I miss? And table talk did I miss?
we're still discussing out of character about what we think she'll do. Essentially, I think we've agreed that before we take a long rest, Renakis is going to scry on Epoch and see what she's doing, where she is.
And we got a piece of her essence, so that'll be.
Yep. It was like what, a -10 to her save to resist or something. I forget what his position.
Hang on, and I'll tell you. I have.
You know,
Why did I do that when I could just click on the spell description? If you get the following bonus or penalty as saving throw based on your
-10.
knowledge of them. Yeah.
Body part, lock of hair, or a bit of nail, or the like. I think spiritual essence counts as a -10.
Yeah.
you know, that's also why I want to study this, because like in a lot of cultures, and even like with some spells here in D&D with the scry thing, having an essence like this can really mess someone up when it comes to spells. So I want to research that, see what I can do with that. Here, maybe I'm not sure what
I think Strong is the only spell that lets you have like some power over somebody for having a piece of them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
like the idea of maybe like
giving you a -10 for something like a lock of hair, and you have a portion of a soul. Yeah, I definitely think that's going to be a hard -10 at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe I can like somehow poison the fragment.
I forget, how did we even end up with the fragment? Is it like
it was inside the pseudo forged?
Yeah, but how did we extract it? Like, is it in
basically after I disintegrate it, I dig for the ashes because I had a feeling something like this might be in it, and I captured it, and I have it like in a glass vial.
Okay.
So.
But we have it in like some kind of bag of holding extra dimensional space before we use it to scry, right?
I don't really have anything like that.
Okay, all right.
I think he just put it in his back pocket.
Great.
Yeah, like I have it on my person.
Okay.
But like I'm thinking about maybe like fear, maybe someone else like taint or like poison this, and then
here's my thing about that, Brandon. I don't think she would have let a piece of her go like that if it was going to be a really big threat to her where it could be used like that.
Yeah.
I literally think this was garbage.
Also, like, if I have a child, if I have a son and my son gets poisoned, I'm not poisoned.
Yeah.
Well, it's not so much her son, but as like a piece of her.
Well, let's put it this way. I get my hair cut. Somebody takes that lock of hair. They set that hair on fire. I'm not burned.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what this basically is. It's cast off. It's garbage. It's beneficial to us that it's garbage.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know.
Like
I'm still going to try to do.
Like there's not like a like voodoo magic is definitely a thing, right? Like when you put a piece of hair on like a voodoo doll and you can control the person through it or whatever. I don't think that exists in D&D.
Yeah. Not to mention also the thing you're looking for is a case of where that chunk of soul is literally and forcefully ripped from the person.
Right.
This is garbage.
Right. I don't know. Maybe I'm just putting too much stock in it. I just thought something like this you won't do like unless you're desperate, because this isn't something you do lightly, right? I don't know.
Unless it's garbage.
All right, I think we can stop discussing it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna before we head into the Tower of Time, Renox is gonna scry on Epoch.
Yep. Ren walks up to Thry and goes, "That bit of her essence you found, hand it over."
All right, I hand it over.
Okay,
right.
so just for like an FYI, as you guys approach the farmlands, it doesn't really impede your flow back towards this specific farm, but you do notice that there are like multiple encampments throughout this area, and very, very heavy troop movement along the roads. Like there's tents that are being pitched throughout the region. The different regiments are setting up like campgrounds in strategic locations. And you do see contingents of soldiers marching.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm only missing my 7th and 6th level spell slot. I'm pulling the rest.
I had a feeling that was happening. There was no way they were going to leave these things completely undefended. We just got to them before they could set up defenses.
I wild shape into a environmentally appropriate bird.
I'm just going to stealth.
So it's like a sparrow that recycles.
No, I mean like a species of bird appropriate to the area.
Yeah, I know. I'm just being a jackass. My normal self.
Yeah, you're a pretty chill dude, Noah. Ethan, I got the spell slots to burn, greater invisibility. I even share with the monks if they wanted.
All right, Renakis busts out his sword and uses his sight beyond sight to sort of get his beam view over through the Thundercat logo of what's going on with Epoch. So in your mind's eye, of course, you see the landscape begin to resolve, and you see Epoch still standing near the siege engine, and as much as a sort of blank-faced creature could do, her movements, the way that she's commanding people around her, she does seem quite agitated, gesturing still quite a bit over at the siege engine itself. And she's absolutely furious. She's talking with a really odd-looking Redarian soldier that has chains sort of wrapped around his body. And the chains, it's got to be somewhat uncomfortable. It would be like if you've seen in the movie the monks that do self-flagellation, where they have the cat of nine tails and whatnot, and they're whipping their backs. You imagine that must be something similar, because you can see blood soaking this person's shirt as the chain has razor sharp barbs all over it. And you hear her definitely tell this thing. We must find them. We must locate them. They have destroyed one of the Atlas. This is unacceptable. I need to get into the monastery. And then you see her sort of start to glance around a little bit. And she's like, there's something not right here. There you are. There you are. And she, to everybody around her, it's almost like she's glancing into the sky for some reason. But, she's looking directly at where your sort of invisible eye of scrying is at. And you get that sense that she's, looking... if you were there in person, it would be eye to eye.
I'm not going to flinch.
We're all there giving her the middle finger.
You guys don't know what I see.
And she can't see us, so.
Yeah, but Ren, you feel a connection through this spell somehow, and it feels odd. This magic just seems a little bit off, almost if you're holding a sword and somebody grabs at the end of the sword, it's going to cut their hand, but they're sort of exerting a slight amount of control as well. You came here unwelcome. I now can feel the presence of the tower here in this time not far away. Why? Why must you fight destiny? Why must you fight my perfect future? Why do you defy me yet again?
I stay silent because I don't know if she can hear me, so. I don't know how much the spell is reversed, so I'm not going to say anything.
Well, where is she?
So, still with the spell in effect, I say to them, she's still at the siege engine, but she knows where we are. And she knows where the tower is. We need to leave.
How do you know that?
Because she just took over my spell.
Shut it off. Stop concentrating on it. I just smack you in the back of the head.
He says that I'm trying to get enough of the layout of the area to see what's going on, so this way when we send the monks back, they know what to be ready for. So, and she already knows we're here.
I understand the danger of that, but...
Caleb's just shaking you bodily, at that point, trying to break your concentration on the spell.
And while that's occurring, Ren is able to see, some strategic positions where they're storing some of their food supplies, how they're setting up their command tents. just basically getting a glance at their structure itself.
All right. As soon as I think I have enough information, I drop the spell. And I go, all right.
Also, out of character, you're not going to mention at all that she said she needed to get into the monastery.
No, I'm going to, but
Okay. All right.
Steps. There are steps that I must climb first.
Okay.
She needs to get into the monastery. We need to tell them how to defend the monastery so she can't get into the monastery, which is why.
They know how to defend the monastery. We helped them defend the monastery. The Shroud is defending the monastery. And,
Right.
we did a huge success in helping them defend that by destroying...
Ren's gonna grab a stick off the ground and real quick draw a rudimentary map for the monks and say, here's the food stores, here's where they're placing themselves, here are their tents. Use this information the best you can.
And your spell's still functioning, right? You haven't dropped it.
I've dropped it. Like
Okay.
I said, as soon as I thought I had enough information that would be helpful, I dropped the spell.
Okay, so when you stop your concentration on the spell, you actually feel the spell sort of cling to you a little bit. And your eyes are drawn once again to Epoch herself. And again, you get that sense that she's staring you right in the eyes. The monastery is no longer important to me. I'm coming for you. And the spell then fully releases.
So I draw the map, I look at Caleb and Thry and I go, we need to leave.
What do you mean?
I mean, we need to leave.
Why?
Because she's coming here.
Isn't
That's good.
the plan? So we can,
The entire purpose of coming here was to lure her into the tower and kill her. Did you forget?
Okay. Here's the problem with that you're not realizing. Have we set up anything in the tower that could help us have an advantage yet? Have we done...
What would you have set up in the tower for an advantage?
Rudimentary traps. Ways to stop her. Barricades.
Should have done that before we got here.
we
Our
like,
initial
I
goal
actually
was
argued
not...
this.
Renakis, look at me. Look at me in the eye. We have 2 fucking chances at this, and you're just going to throw one away without even trying it? Bullshit. She's coming here. She's coming to the tower.
Our goal when we came here... Our goal when we came here was not to find her. It was to find what she was looking for.
No, absolutely not. No, we knew what she was coming here to find. She was coming here to find mind control magic. We came here to kill her. We have 2 chances to kill her. You forgot this entire thing. We only know 2 places in history where she'll be at when we have attempts to lure her into the tower and kill her. She's coming here.
Do you think she's going to be dumb enough to come alone?
It doesn't fucking matter. If there's an army there, I'll earthquake a fucking lot of them. You think they can handle that? You think anybody she has can handle what we can throw at them?
Yes, because here's the problem. Here's the problem that you have, that so many people with power have, that you don't seem to comprehend. You could have all the power in the world. Numbers will always win. 1,000 kobolds against a Warforged Titan can still take out that Titan.
Sure,
you know why?
How many kobolds do you think can make it through that door?
Just takes enough. This is not the time.
How many do you think I can handle one at a time through that door? How many can you handle one at a time?
I pull out the pearl and I crush it.
Oh, come on, man! You're really going to...
Yep.
So what decision are you modifying?
So the decision I'm modifying is explaining to them what's going on, and I'm just going to turn around afterwards and tell them that she's coming with the entire army.
Great. Awesome.
I mean,
and
I don't think that's really going to change.
She's teleported right by where the monolith is. We don't have time to wait. We have to leave now.
No.
So hold on though. To clarify, what you're actually changing with the
is pearl. What I explained to Caleb and Thry. I'm going to lie to Caleb and Thry.
Yeah, disregarding everything, you tell me that so what would you see? What happened? And you say, oh my God, she's teleported to the monolith and she's coming here with the entire army. And I go, okay, great.
And I'm still going to say the same thing. We are not ready to fight a fourth Epic.
And then I say the same thing. I say the exact same thing, where I say the entire purpose of coming here was to lure her into the tower and kill her. So let's just get into the tower, we get ready for attacking however many soldiers she can send through that door one at a time before she comes and gets and attacks us herself.
Fry speaks up. I understand.
That's pretty much what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay. So for clarification, he's using the pearl to modify your guys' decision to where you're agreeing with him.
No, I fucking refuse. You cannot change your decision to make me agree with you. Bullshit.
Yeah, I'm going to say that.
If you wanted to lie to have a second chance of coming up with a lie to me to get me to move, you just said basically the exact same thing. Except you tried to create a time pressure, which Caleb still wouldn't care about. So I'm sorry, your second chance didn't work.
Yeah, I was going to say you might want to. I don't think you can convince Caleb really.
I mean, if you could have there could have probably been a lie that you could have told to Caleb that maybe may have made him move, but an additional
out of game. I'm gonna say this right now, Anthony. I don't think so because you're doing the same thing so many players with power do. It's I have power. Numbers don't matter.
Okay,
I think.
Listen. Do you think for a second that Noah is going to have us go through 1,000 rounds of combat of us killing first level soldiers or veterans from the monster manual one at a time until Epoch shows up? Or are we just going to have the climactic battle at a character?
I'm saying I don't think it's a great idea to try and do this now. I don't think
I
this
disagree.
is the time.
Anthony disagrees. The entire purpose of this campaign, I don't know if it's been months and you forgot, but the entire reason for us to come here was to lure her into the tower and kill her.
Okay, I think right now things are getting a bit too heated.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. But
I think it's probably
the entire plan was
Google Hangouts just froze entirely. I lost all of that.
The entire plan, the entire purpose to coming to Sarlona. I'm not sure. I mean, it's been months. I don't blame you if you forgot.
That was not the purpose. The purpose of coming here was for information.
No, it was not. The entire purpose was to chase her and get her into the tower.
If we had come here specifically for the purpose to kill her, Ren wouldn't have agreed to it.
All right, listen.
I would have never agreed to that because
you did. Like Noah, do you have it recorded? Like the entire purpose of coming here was to get her into the tower and destroy her.
I feel like the purpose of coming here has changed a bit each time, but my thought on this matter is this. I agree it is dangerous. We probably should have done more preparation, but this is one of the best times to get here.
Not because he has an army with her.
The only information that we came here for was where exactly was she, so that we could try to figure out how to lure her into the tower. That's the only information we came here for.
All for it.
I'm sorry, I completely disagree that this is the time to fight her. She has an army.
We have 2 chances in the entire history to fix this.
Right.
I don't
think this is an ideal situation either, Chris, but this is like maybe one, you might just need to take it, though.
No.
We may not get another chance.
The time. No, we have another chance. And I would rather do it when she doesn't have an army back in her.
So you think it's better not to do it now when she has an army of Riedran soldiers? You think it's better to do it later when she has an army of fucking dragons? You're going to let her go to Argonessen with mind-controlled magic and have to fucking deal with that? No. We're getting her now.
Yeah. Like, the purpose coming here is kind of mute at this point. Right now, the discussion...
When she goes to Argonessen with mind-controlled magic, she gets an army of dragons to wipe out Corvair and all this other bullshit. That's what we're trying to stop. We have to get her.
There was something in the temple she was going for still.
Well,
She
apparently
doesn't
not.
have what she needed yet.
And apparently not. She said, "I don't need the monastery anymore."
No, because she needs to kill Thry inside the temple, just like we need inside the tower, just like we need to kill her.
I know, that was always the risk. That was always the fucking risk. We all knew that. I knew that. I'm not discounting that. But our only chance is to do it in the tower, and we have to get her in the tower.
She has an army.
And how many people do you think she's going to get into the tower?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. You're talking about numbers. How many people is she going to force through the one single door into the tower?
Guys, why don't we just settle down and maybe take a break, because this is starting to get pretty heated here. All right.
Well, I view all of this as being in character.
Right. Well, I just don't want to have like a out of character fight about this.
Well, it's getting out of character because you're also talking about me as if I'm making a dumb decision, which I'm not.
So Noah did just post the original reason why we came here, and killing her is not on there.
Right, but that point's mute in my opinion.
This is not copy pasted from something, is it?
This comes directly from the notes of the information that I had both shared and that we had discussed.
Yeah, but I believe at this point it's kind of mute, as
there's
view.
I mean, there's absolutely discussion of killing her. Like what? Like, go back and watch 15 hours of whatever this recording is, because we definitely talked about killing her, because we came up with a whole plan about killing her in the tower.
I just think the whole conversation of what we came here for is mute, because I think the situation changed now. We may not have come to kill her, but we now have a chance. We do have a guarantee that she will come here. Whether or not she brings people or how much, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much she can teleport. I'm not sure how many she can get into the tower before we close it with her in it.
The argument of how many she can get into the tower is a moot point for one very important reason. I'm gonna send my army first. Oh, I can't get in. Okay, bye.
Okay, you think she's going to give up? That's dumb. Like, you think she's coming over to you after that scry? After that description of the scry that you just got, you think she's going to get her entire army to come over here to come to the tower and then just give up and bounce? I think that's literally what she's going to.
I think that she's not dumb enough to sit there and go, okay, I can sit here and I can keep sending my army in, and they can dwindle it down, and then I can go in and get killed, or I can leave.
You don't think that Noah's going to give us the climactic battle? You don't think so? I do. I think she's going to be furious and wants to kill us bad enough to come get us. You don't think that's going to happen?
I'm giving Noah credit not to play her stupid.
I think what he said, whoever Rocket was saying that.
Okay, just because people disagree with you and how you think that she should act does not make her fucking dumb. Just because Noah might have had that in mind doesn't mean that he was dumb to play her that way. Just because he wants to have a boss battle with the actual boss present doesn't make him a bad DM. Stop making that part of if it doesn't go exactly how you think it should go, that is wrong and dumb and stupid.
I didn't say that he's a bad DM.
Yes, you are. You're using words dumb. You're using words stupid.
Okay, we're getting to insults.
It's
guys, we're getting to insults now. We're tabling this. We're getting to insults. This argument gone too far. Okay, now that we're getting to personal insults, I think we need to drop it. Okay, let's move on. Drop it.
The problem is, Brandon, we can't move on.
I can move on. I think Brandon can move on. You're the only one who disagrees.
I think he meant we can't move on because this is very plot-heavy decision of whether or not we stay or not.
Brandon, are you going to try to kill her in the tower? That's what we had planned, right? Is
yes.
Thry willing to give it a shot here and now?
I'm willing to do that, but I will admit this isn't the best ideal time to do it.
But we have very few chances to do it, correct?
Yes.
Right. So you're willing to take the risk now, right?
I'm willing to take the risk. And I'm willing to do like this as a table vote to stop arguments. So I am willing to do this now.
All right.
So I
so
wish we had like
two of
time
us
to
wants-
do a long
two of
rest
us
to get.
wants to do it
all my
now.
stuff.
We're not dumb for wanting to do it now against one. So just go with the party.
So I suppose the question would be, though, do you have an exit strategy if things don't go well? And if so,
like,
what would that look like?
The exit strategy if things don't go well, like if Epoch is beating us inside the tower?
Well, so just for sake of clarity, to get I think more information on the table, you do know that she cannot die outside of the tower.
Correct.
So you do know that your only chance of killing her is inside of the tower.
Correct.
Yes.
But you also, as I recall, don't exactly know how to kill her.
No, we do know how to kill her. That was part explained. We kill her by 1, dropping her to 0 or low HP.
Mhm.
Then Caleb drive the acorn into her heart.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll destroy her and the Tower of Time because we destroy 2 paradoxes
Right.
in order for her to die.
So I should clarify. You know how to end her permanently once you kill her, but you don't yet know how or if you can get her to 0 hit points.
I mean, that's the same of any boss fight, right? Like
Spells,
unless you're running something like straight out of the monster manual, or I'm metagaming, I don't know exactly what resistance or what for a boss that you've custom made. I assume she has hit points. I assume she has an AC. I assume she has saving throws, and we fight her like we fight any other monster. It's just going to be a tough monster. Maybe
but we don't have a specific battle plan.
Yeah, but I mean, like, okay, like,
right.
I mean, if a gold dragon comes and attacks us right now, we're not going to have a battle plan, but we're going to give it our best, right? Like,
right. So that battle plan would be nice to have, but no, our plan is just basically attack her until she goes down. As for exit strategy, I guess
As far as it sounds like exit strategy is we die.
The exit strategy is if she starts pouring in soldiers that we can't contain, and there's just a bunch of soldiers coming in that we, it's an endless stream of soldiers coming through the door, then we close the door.
Still got a McCree behind us.
Yeah, like Caleb can have like a force of wall in front of the door to stop.
No, I think we literally just close the door, right? Because nobody can come in without the key.
I mean, it'll be hard if there's like a entire army trying to pull through. But yeah, probably close the door.
And if we need to, then we time travel away.
But if she's in the inside of the tower at that point,
about it if she's not.
Okay.
Like if she's in the tower, we immediately close the door so that the rest of her army can't come through.
Right.
Like, as soon as she enters in, we seal it off and time travel, so that
I don't think she has the power to teleport an army. She's probably going to teleport in like a elite guard.
She's probably not teleporting anything because that was a lie that Renok is told. But anyway, if she comes in, we immediately time travel away, so that she has no more access to her region army.
As for when she in the tower for her back to leave, like the only thing I can think of is maybe banishing her or.
As far as exit strategy goes, no, it does allow me to use the trees that are on the Caleb's atrium for tree stride. So if we teleport to a time that I know of, I can tree stride.
You tore those out.
Was that?
You tore those out.
I did not tear them out.
Yes, you did. Remember,
What?
I made the comment of that's a waste of a tree.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. I think
You tore them out. You had Thry destroy his teleportation circle.
Yeah, because we want no way for her to get in, because we don't know like any of her spells.
Because one of the journals I brought out said that she has had different abilities in different time ways. So we never know what she's capable of.
Okay. All right.
So we took out any way for her to teleport in.
Well, if my tree stride works, teleport should work. So.
Right. But that would leave the problem of her leaving her with the tower.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you want to run and hide and survive and live out the rest of your days in whatever hellscape she imagines, cool. I mean, that's not what Caleb's going to do, but...
Right. But yeah, we have that, but to be honest, this starting to sound like we're going to fight to the death. Because that looks like that's the only option when we start a fight with her.
Yeah, basically. All or nothing. I mean, that's kind of how it goes with climactic campaign ending battles. So I don't understand why we're deliberating about this.
Because this is a big decision, and no one's trying to figure out, like we're fighting final boss. We're just running down the checklist to make sure,
Yeah.
Anything else, Noah?
Um,
I mean, it's going to be hard without. I mean, I got like all my spells except for one 4th level and my 6th and 7th.
Well, we're gonna have time. Even if she pops up at the what you would call it,
Tower.
monolith.
Yeah.
It's still a half a day's travel to here.
Right.
So Caleb's just gonna rest,
but
and meditate.
Well, yeah, I guess it would have to be meta to provide a reminder that she knows exactly where you're at now.
Yeah, she could teleport here.
Well, then let's get in the tower immediately. Because if we fight her out here, it's for nothing.
Yeah. And I don't think she can teleport into the tower, because she probably would have done that before if she could.
Yeah,
she cannot teleport
So yeah, it sounds like
into
she'll
the
be
tower.
there until we open the door. So I'm guessing the plan is go in, close the door, rest. Once we're ready, we open the door and let her in.
Yep.
Alright. I guess so. Are you fine with this, Chris?
I was outvoted, so there's no point in me putting an input. Let's just get this over with at this point.
Yep.
Right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Chris.
It's not against you. Not against Anthony. Just, I made my point. I was outvoted. Nothing I can do about it.
Right.
Well, and I mean, ultimately, it is one of the kind of campaign center questions is, do you engage the big baddie and at what point? And if you feel prepared enough for it, then that's sort of what happens.
Right.
At this point, she's coming. So it's that decision, take a shot in the dark or flee. Because that's ultimately what this situation is.
I don't think it's much a shot in the dark. I don't know why killing her is not on this list of things to do or whatever, but that was Caleb's intention the entire time, was to find her, get her in the tower, and kill her. As soon as we had the plan, as soon as I had the acorn, where I knew that we could end her permanently, that became the end goal. That everything was for that. So if we had plans that ended before that point, that means that I did not think that we could get to the point where we could attack her before then. That we can lure her into the tower before then. now that she is coming, we're set. Like, that's it.
I agree with Anthony on the point, like, this is, like we probably could have maybe tried to get her in at the other place, but then she'll probably have dragons, and that isn't a guarantee. However, I would have liked to have time to, set up traps and like cover and whatnot, but I do agree that ultimately at the end we should probably face her now.
Also, like, I have a druid grove on the balcony.
Yeah, so what I was doing is going back through my notebook here just to see where I had jotted down information about things, because I had thought that Martine Cogsworth had given you guys some specific objectives. Like, this was a recon mission, and then there was another piece of information that she was trying to obtain in Arganessen that you guys were sort of going to seek out. And then I thought that, that's where I'm looking through the notes, because I thought that there was a connection there with Cogsworth saying that you needed to return to the day of mourning when you have the final battle.
That's supposed to happen after we kill her. We're automatically shunted back to the day of mourning.
Yeah.
At which point we tried to head over to where Chris is and somehow do that.
Like, I think, we were told that immediately upon planting the seed in her, the entire timeline would shift and merge back at the day of mourning.
Okay.
I don't want this to this big epic final battle to suck for Chris, because this whole argument happened. I want to have everyone have fun.
Listen, it was only an argument, and I only started getting upset because Chris was throwing around words like stupid and dumb. So if anybody's here was insulted, it was me. And me getting insulted on Noah's behalf. So if anybody's going to apologize to anybody, I'm not apologizing to Chris.
How are you feeling, Chris?
Doesn't matter. Let's get this over with.
Well, I guess the big question now is, we only have 30 minutes left. Should we save the final boss battle next week, or at least the week after that? That way we have the full session time to, focus on the battle. Or do you want to use the 30 minutes to do the battle and we can just continue on where we left off?
I think that's a question for Noah.
Okay, sorry, but I had a network disruption apparently.
I guess the question is, we only have 30 minutes left, roughly. Should we wait until the next game to do the final boss battle to give it a full focus, and have the 30 minutes we have left for setup time and final bookkeeping? Or do you want to start the battle now and pick it up later?
What would make sense to me is because you guys are, if I'm understanding correctly, the intent now is to enter the Tower of Time and
basically prepare what we can and rest.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as I can tell, I guess your guys. Sorry, my connection's doing some weird stuff at the moment.
Yeah, there's a second U now.
So I guess the part that's unclear to me is how, at this point, how are you intending to get her into the tower?
Open the door up and invite her.
Yeah, since he's coming anyway.
She seems furious and gunning towards us. So all we got to do is go come on in. That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me grab these tokens.
But do you want to do the battle now, or do you want to like wait until next week to devote an entire session to it?
I think it would probably make the most sense to be more focused with time, because if this is, and to clarify also, it would be 2 weeks from now, because next week I have to do my consulting work in Santa Cruz. So in that regard, I think it would make the most sense to sort of enter the tower, talk through any of your preparation strategies, your final preparation strategy, and then sort of pause it there rather than get the beginnings of an epic battle, and then we run out of time and whatnot.
Right.
Because I'm also running up against the deuce clock at the moment. A little TMI there. So I don't think we would have the time to run fully through. Why did that just go all black?
I don't know.
Okay, there we go, because it was zoomed out. Okay, so you return to the farm and you enter in through the outhouse door into the Tower of Time. I've just placed you guys near our Heroes Feast table because that's sort of been your de facto headquarters planning ground. I've got food on the table at the moment, but I don't think the table is activated. You're almost right up against the 24-hour marker.
Right.
So if I recall correctly, which I might not because I forgot entirely about uprooting that other tree, I only uprooted one of the trees because the other trees are currently treants because they're my Druid Grove guardians.
Yes.
Okay.
Is Cosworth here?
Cogsworth is not here. In your last meeting with him, you guys had spoken, and then he had exited the tower into Riedra, and you don't know where he went. So,
Right.
as far as you know, Cogsworth is out in the countryside somewhere.
All right.
In this time, I should say.
All right, so the most well-guarded place in this tower is probably my Druid Grove. There's 3 or 4 treants that can aid us in the battle.
So remind me again, what does the Druid Grove do?
It does a lot, so I just put it in the chat.
But so basically, it's like the best place for you to fight her.
Yeah, that's the best place for us to fight her because I can do any number of effects that will affect us. Grasping Undergrowth, Solid Fog, the Grove Guardians.
So we just need to get her to there.
Yep.
My problem is I'm not sure if she's willing to go there because I feel like she might try to go after us, but she might just try to go after the controls of the Tower of Time.
That's true.
I also want to point out that if we all go there and there's no one left behind to close the door if that becomes a necessity. Because
Yep.
that's probably the farthest from the door that we can be.
Mm-hmm.
And we can, you guys can tell me too where you'd like to shift back and forth at, because there's of course 3 levels to the Tower of Time.
Right. Can you shift
Can you
to
turn
the door
off
level?
log- Yeah,
So this would be the entrance level,
Yeah.
with the door.
So how quickly could I get to a window? Let's see.
There's no interior windows on that level. You'd have to run to like the area that has the hot tub, or one of the north or south areas with the ballista.
Right. Okay. Then, because
So these are the stairs up.
Those look downstairs. I think these are ups.
Yeah, the internal ones were upstairs. The external ones were sort of down leading stairs.
And forgive me for just a reminder, there's like a bubble, right? Like as soon as you walk into this door, the outside, like if I fly through this like one of the windows, I'm not like then back in Riedra. I'm in this like bubble of time, right?
Correct. Yeah, and that's a danger, as you guys had experienced in your previous altercation, that it can risk oblivion.
Right. But like, how big is the bubble outside of the window?
I think it extended about 100 feet or so.
Right. So that's fine. Because I'm thinking like, you know, like I could be here. Somebody has to stay behind to close the door, and then can the tower move when the door is closed or open?
It cannot.
It cannot. Okay. So somebody would need to get around her, and then close the door, and then let whoever, and then Thrive, the control mechanism for the tower. You can just do that from anywhere, right? You don't need to be in a specific place.
To what? Activate the time travel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just need to think it.
Okay. So as soon as she comes through, I'll shut the door, and then you can be back here towards where one of the staircases are, so you can be ready to move. And then as soon as you see me shut the door, you make a run for it towards the grove, and send us someplace.
Well, we don't know if she'll. Well, we don't know if I'm like the perfect bait here, because my fault is she wants the tower. Killing me would destroy the tower. My guess is she probably wants to get to the.
She doesn't need the tower. She's not coming for the tower. She's coming for you. She's already shown she doesn't need the tower to get around in time.
Right. Remind me again. Like, she wants to kill me because
we opposed her.
Okay. Okay.
Well, and because you guys are you're a linked anomaly.
Right.
And so, wait, so if she kills Thry, something
in
bad.
The tower.
Well, because Thry can't permanently die unless we plant the acorn into him, right?
No, I'm different. If I die, I can only die in the tower. And if I die in the tower, me and the tower are destroyed, and that basically we basically lose any shot at destroying her permanently.
Right. Okay, yeah. Maybe have Renakis be the bait then, because he can get there faster.
Though, I think I brought this
I'm not
up.
being the bait.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think that would be in alignment with Renakis' established character either, because he tends to be more distant in the battles and not a tank.
I look at one of the monks. I'm like, how about one of you?
I don't think she cares for the monks. I think right now she's tunnel visiting on us specifically.
Mm-hmm. Are you guys even going to be participating in the battle?
The monks?
Yeah.
I'm always down for a fight.
I mean, to be perfectly frank, she's probably going to kill you.
Gotta die sometime, right? Might as well die being a hero.
Yeah, I can do that.
Hey man, at least one of those guys is a mystic, and from what I heard, mystics are way overpowered. So
I look at Ganon in the bush. I'm like, how about you? You want to be bait?
The bush eyes like close real quick. I'm just a bush.
I just pick the bush up like the cardboard box over a snake.
And there's Dannon, kind of squatting on the ground in a hunched position. Oh, hey guys. What's going on?
Does she care about him? I look at Thry.
I don't know.
Probably not.
He's kind of an anomaly, right?
Dannon, I would say he's quite odd, but whether he's a product of a time shard or not, that yet remains to be seen.
Yeah, but like,
I mean, you could be bait. You know, he comes in, you close the door and run.
the last time that we encountered Epoch, Dannon was part of the party and like active, right?
It was the lighthouse.
Yeah.
I don't think he was present for
He was
that.
at the lighthouse. He was at the lighthouse.
Yeah, he
That's
wasn't.
about it.
That was the one where he joined.
Yeah.
But he's only an anomaly because we brought him into the tower. He is not an anomaly like I am, or like Caleb is, or like Thry is. He's an anomaly because he literally got dragged into this.
Yeah.
Another thing to say is instead of making getting a bait, we just force her to come in one direction, like either bar the doors or make it so like the only way through is to grow.
I look at Thry and I ask, can you bring the tower into a space that doesn't have a linked time? Can you just like send us to like a time limbo?
Noah, can I?
You guys have done that before,
Right?
The tower just sort of stayed in temporal prime, which is like just the stream of time. Like it wasn't in any fixed point. It was just sort of in the stream.
Perfect. That's perfect. So can you do that?
I believe so.
Okay. So I need you to be somewhere where you can hear me. Maybe we can just open up all the doors towards the the grove or whatever, because I'll be alone in the corridor.
Like, I'm not sure I have that particular control over the tower. I can send it places, but I'm not sure if I have like power over like the physical objects in the tower.
I mean, open the door with your hand.
Oh, okay.
And just keep it open. Maybe prop it with a box or something. Little door jamb, wedge of wood, whatever. My point was that I could be alone in the corridor. We don't even need bait. And as soon as she comes in, I can close the door behind her, yell at you to move the tower, and then we're in a time bubble, and she's cut off and has no means of escape.
All right.
Then you can't control the tower. Like, there's no control mechanism for the tower, right? It's the clock that you have, right?
Yeah, the amulet.
So there's no other place in the tower where she can control the tower except to get your amulet.
Right.
Right? So she has to go where you are if she wants the tower, if she needs it, which Renakis brings up a good point, which she might not. But if she's coming after you specifically for the control of the tower, because maybe it's part of her master plan, who knows? She would have to go where you are. So if everybody in the tower, because I look around and I'm like, I don't really care about this furniture, like that desk, and I point over to the open door in the forge and like look at the the things of tools. I'm like, that's just junk that we don't need. So she can tear through the tower and wreck all of our belongings. I don't care. Right?
Right. I don't believe there's anything important.
Right.
Down here.
So eventually she's going to have to come to where we are if she wants to fight us. Right. Because we won't even let her out of here unless, she won't have a way out unless she has that amulet. Because the door will be closed, we'll be stuck in limbo.
Right.
Unless she can just time shift herself away.
Sure. In which case, then this was all for nothing and no harm, no foul.
We can still counterspell that, or I'm not sure Do you have like a dimensional anchor, Anthony?
I don't think it exists anymore in 5e.
Not to mention, I don't think time travel would count as a dimensional anchors type of deal. Dimensional anchor is more so about shifting between planes.
I mean, I guess we could ask the Warforged here something prime if he could just time shift out.
Axiom Prime.
Axiom Prime. Can he like time shift out?
Yeah.
No, when I went through my journals, did it mention anything about her being able to do that? Because I did go through my journals to look and see what some of her abilities were.
Yeah, you know that she can function similarly to the tower. She can travel through the time stream. Whether she can do that from inside of the tower or not, there would be no indication within the journals.
What about Axiom Prime?
Because now that would kind of be almost like an Inception-like quandary. Like while traveling through time, can you travel through time while traveling through time?
Also, like, if that's the case, then we have no way of pinning her down whatsoever.
Right.
And then this is all useless. And then you can go fuck off and do whatever you want because the world's gonna end. Like, if we can't keep her in the tower to get her to get her down, like, then who? Like, there's no plan.
So I guess with that settled, next thing preparation is like traps and or make cover and like the grove and on the way to the grove.
Now, to just give you guys a meta sort of linkage there, what you have established, of course, is yes, you can teleport into and out of the tower, but only when the tower's in a fixed point in time. So it would logically kind of suit that you also couldn't, say, activate time travel abilities unless the tower is fixed somewhere, and meaning the door's open. Once the door's closed and the tower is disconnected, then it almost becomes its own demi-plane.
Right.
So I just want to bring this up before we start this whole battle. Like I talked about this before, but the reason why we need the Tower of Time Destroyer is because we need a paradox to be destroyed with her, correct?
Yes.
It takes like 2 paradoxes.
Yeah. You have to have 2 paradoxes to eliminate each other. Thus,
I brought this up, but I just want to confirm this. Like, since Fry himself is a paradox, would he be able to sacrifice himself to fulfill that need?
You believe that would be possible?
I mean, if all else fails, right? Like if we lose the tower, that's our last recourse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to bring that up because, I don't know, because I feel like that could be a good way to send off Fry, if it comes to that.
Yeah, in your earlier discussions, the main reason that you didn't want, or that the party didn't want to sacrifice Thry was because this was an opportunity to also eliminate the tower itself, which poses a large threat to existence, depending on whose hands are in control of it.
Right.
It's sort of that absolute power corrupts absolutely.
All right. Well, I don't know how much traps are going to be worth.
I mean, honestly, probably not much. But
what kind of traps can you set up?
As me personally, I could probably, at most, do alchemical glue / grease that could probably mess up her movement a little bit.
Let's see.
But I don't really have any specific trap spells.
Now, to give you guys yet maybe another meta bit of info, you can simply close the door right now to activate the tower, disconnecting you from time to give you ample time to prepare.
Well, we are. Yeah, we absolutely are. Yeah.
Okay, so is that did you guys close the door then? Now the tower.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We came
Yeah,
in here.
because we still need to do the rest.
Yeah.
For, you know.
Okay, so at the moment, you're not under a time pressure that you're aware of because you are disconnected from time.
So we opened the door, no time passed outside.
If that's what the controller of the tower wishes.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Because the tower can go to specific locations at specific times, or it can go to a specific time and be at a specific location. So it's kind of like not one or the other. Like you couldn't just like travel absolutely anywhere, anytime. It's at specific times. The tower exists in specific locations.
Right.
Right.
So I could set up some explosive glyphs of warding around.
So, wait. Noah, let me get this straight then. Let's say if we wanted to, Thry could close the door, time shift us back to when we first got here before we dealt with the monastery and everything, correct?
Correct. Because that's a fixed point in time at a fixed location that you're aware of.
So why are we fighting her now?
Because this is because she's coming to us, and this is a guarantee.
We could go back into our own time stream and come out of the tower when we're already outside.
You would in essence Groundhog Day it.
Would we like lose experience and stuff?
To stay with that analogy, no, because he maintained the knowledge and whatnot that he had when he Groundhog Day'd.
So this is way more powerful than I thought. Even I thought there were limits on our time travel. So we know exactly where she's going to be and when. Yes,
which is the whole point of this expedition, was to figure out where she was, when she was, and what she was doing. That was ultimately why you came to Sarlona, and you have that knowledge.
And then we were going to go to Arganessen to see what she was doing there, and then come back and do all of this again. That was the argument I was trying to make before.
No, it wasn't.
We can just drop that, but so.
But at this, I guess what I'm trying to underscore is at this point, you guys achieved all of your goals with this trip to Sarlona.
The question here now is, do we want to fight her now, or do we want to...
So here's the problem. Here's the problem, though. She also time shifts, right? So if we go to Arganessen and then mess with her there...
She can try and travel back to us and...
Right. She could potentially remember.
We have something she doesn't have.
Which is?
My journals.
I mean, Enoch seemed like the type of creature that could have, like, knowledge of all of her timelines.
Yeah, I definitely would not put that past her.
She hasn't seemed to show that knowledge before. She was surprised when you broke the seal. If she had knowledge of all of her timelines, she should have known that that was going to happen.
Well, it didn't happen until it happened.
But what I'm saying is that is one of her timelines. So if we go back to this point...
Well, I feel like that's okay, because that's literally like breaking time.
But what I'm saying is if we go back to this time, I haven't scryed on her yet. She doesn't know where the tower is yet if we go back to before this. She doesn't even know we're here yet if we go back to
Yeah, but the worry is if we travel back in time to do that, she would travel back in time too.
So if we travel back in time to just before you scry her, then
not even then. Not even then. If we travel back in time to the day that we first came here, that night.
I don't think we should, because she's coming towards the monastery whether we were here or not.
Yeah, right? So to clarify with the tower, though, what I'm trying to express is the tower can go to specific geographic coordinates. Like, say, if you wanted to go to, well, back to Kyrie. Well, you could choose to go to Kyrie, and it then will give you a time that you can be there. And it might, at some locations, it could be there multiple times. So you'd be like, well, I want to go there 990 YK, or I want to go there 30,000 years ago, if that's an option. But you couldn't choose, like, I want to go back 5 years on a Thursday.
Yeah. So
if
what
you
I'm
choose
saying,
5 years ago on a Thursday, it might say, okay, you can do that, but the tower will be at the Ashen Spire if you choose that time.
So if we open the door again, is it not going to be when we left? Like,
so
yeah,
if you
triggered it.
Yeah, if you open the door again now, it essentially is like everything was paused.
right.
What I'm saying is that we can go to Arganessen, find out what she did there, come back to that point at that night before I even slept that guy and he smashed his head on the ground. Because geographically and chronologically, the tower is still at the outhouse.
Okay, but what's stopping her from firing out? Once we
Because
can she travel back in time too?
here, it's the argument you made before, that Anthony made before. It didn't happen until it happened. If we go back to before I scryed, well, I haven't scryed yet. She doesn't know where we are. She doesn't know where the tower is. She doesn't know we're here.
Can we? Noah, can we do that? Can we go back like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, or whatever?
No, you could go back to when you first arrived here. Like, because that's the moment that the tower existed here, in this time and at this location. So everything that you've done on Sarlona wouldn't have happened.
But it did happen once, and that version of her could travel back in time too.
Yeah, if you go forward in time, then your actions happened. But if you reverse time, then everything you've done hadn't happened yet.
The tower gives us a finer control than what she has. That's what I'm trying to get at. That's what
I don't think you know that for certain.
That's what Noah said.
All right, I'm getting these time travel.
That's what he just said.
Noah, is that what you just said?
In essence, yes. She would have to have knowledge of where and when you are in order to travel to that time as well.
So she just
she knows where we were. So
she knows where you are at this moment in time.
Right. So if we go forward to Arganessen, then she will always have known that we were there at a certain point in Sarlona.
Well, with Arganessen, you will be traveling backward in time again.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure the timeline you gave us was that she was in Sarlona first, and then she went to Arganessen after she got the mind control magic.
Unless this right now, she's already started what's going on Arganessen at this point in time. Where we are right now in the time stream, she's already begun Arganessen. She came, like Brandon said, to clean up.
What's that? No, because after she goes to Arganessen, she gets an army of dragons. It's like she would have dragons now. Like if this was post Arganessen,
this is part of the time paradox travel. That although the Arganessen thing did happen in the past, that past hasn't occurred yet because it's in the future. Meaning, like, her entity in and of itself right now hasn't yet gone to Arganessen, but that Arganessen trip has taken place. It's just she hasn't done it yet, but it did happen in the past.
Brain hurts. Are we going to Arganessen or not?
I honestly say that we go to Arganessen, find out what she did there, come back to the night we first came here.
All right, but do we really need to
set
know
up
what
an ambush? Yes, because if she still gets away, if she manages to get away from an ambush that we set up here, we still know what she's planning over there.
Fair enough.
Yeah, if we actually have the means to, well, I mean, like, regardless, we can't attack her unless she's in the tower.
Yeah.
So we have every sequence of events that we need from this. We know exactly everything we need to do to get her to come to the tower.
And as a bonus, we can guarantee at times she would come to the tower because we know that destroying the monolith will get her over here. So
Right. We know that we have to murder that abomination to strengthen the shroud. Then we have to go to the tower and earthquake it to the ground. Then we have to scry on her like 2 hours later, and that will piss her off. That she will be enraged enough at that point to come at us at the tower.
But here's the thing. We also now have the ability to resequence events.
We could or we could not, and know what we know and make sure that it happens that way.
Yeah, we sequencing events could lead to unknown.
Let me explain what I mean. Let's say I don't scry on her. She's going to go for the Hanbalan. She's not going to come to the tower. She's going to go for the Hanbalan.
But she needs to come to the tower.
I'm hypothetically, so I can explain what I mean by resequencing events.
Uh-huh.
So then what we can do is we can set up a situation where we first come here, we blow up the Hanbalan, I scry on her, because we already have the piece of her soul.
So here's the problem with that. If she was coming to the monastery to attack us, which it seems like from your description of the scrying, that's what it was. She doesn't come there with the army until we kill the shard, the avatar of her, the aspect of her there. She doesn't come with an entire army and a siege engine that works off the Hemblay until that happens. She doesn't get pissed off when she sees the shroud be strengthened for some reason more than she expected. She doesn't get more pissed off when her siege engine stops working because of an explosion. She doesn't get even more pissed off because we dared scry on her, and she finally knows where we are finally. So if we blow up the Hamblai first, that's just a weird occurrence to her that she doesn't know why it happened. And what was this?
But here's the thing. She noticed I was scrying on her without any being enraged, without any of that. She was just like, hey, wait a minute.
Out of character, that's false. She was very agitated.
Well,
but that wasn't what caused her to notice I was scrying on her.
Well,
that's not what I meant, though. That's not. I did not speak to that. What I'm saying is that if we blow up a Hamblai out of nowhere and then you scry on her, she's going to be like, oh, huh, interesting, right?
Well, so I think more of the core of the issue is one, you wouldn't even really necessarily need to blow up a tower at all. If you,
I was using it as a hypothetical for when I said rearranging events.
Yeah, because of course, this is all super meta, but I think because it's all time related and this can be kind of confusing, I do think it's worth sort of me giving more information about how some of this stuff would work.
I could literally just walk out of the tower, scry on her, and she'd come anyway.
And it would draw her attention, in theory, because it's more of the scrying act itself in isolation of everything else. Mm-hmm. That then she, at least theoretically, would be able to do that same thing where she grabs hold of the scry and kind of reverses it a little. Because ultimately she knows she wants to kill you guys anyway, regardless of everything.
She wouldn't be as mad.
No, she would not be as mad. No, that's a given.
And when people are angry, they make poor decisions. Like
not only that, but with the time we did now, she has committed a lot of her resources to the war, to this fight. So if we do it early, she might be able to actually bring...
They weren't her resources. They were Sarlona's resources.
That she was in control of.
But what I'm saying is that even if it wasn't a case of she's committed her resources, either way, if we fight her here, we're fighting her in an army. Yeah, okay, 2,500, that's a lot of people, but that wasn't a dent.
Just to put this to bed, like, how is she, if we fight her now, how does she get the army here? Do you think she can teleport a whole army here?
Yeah, I mean, again, I am flabbergasted at your insistence that she's going to be pouring through battalions of soldiers like a funnel into this tower. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, I believe she's going to bring in like troops, some, but not like with teleportation.
We open the door Like, we open the door, and I take, like, a halberd to the face, and then I shout at her, like, no, you come alone, and I close the door. And then she can't do anything about it. Like, a halberd isn't gonna do much. I just took an explosion to the face of a heavily atlas, and I'm fine. So I could sit there taking stab wounds from, a dozen halberds for a couple of seconds and just give her an ultimatum where she comes alone or she doesn't get anything, and I close the door.
Seeing from the way that she acts and the way you act, it's literally just going to be two people staring at each other going, you move first. No, you move first. No, you move first.
Well, she's the one who wants something, right? She wants to come kill us, so I'm going to close the door
and
we
want to kill her.
Okay,
so it's literally a case of where we're starting.
How she's getting the army here, Chris?
The army here was a hypothetical. Do I believe that she's going to bring a lot of troops? Yes. Especially if we...
Like, how many do you think are going to get through the door before I can close it?
It only takes 4.
It only takes 4 what?
It only takes 4 to stop you from closing that door.
How?
The door opens in. If there's 4 people in the way, you can now not close the door because there are people in the way. And if people keep pushing, well, you still can't close the door because now there's a force of people in the way. That is the part that you have missed. This entire argument with the closing of the door.
It's not that hard to close the door.
If there are people in the way of the door, it is.
I clap my hands in Thunderwave.
So one of the battle tactics in real world Renaissance era and medieval era, they used to give handfuls of like wheat or straw to the peasants and send them towards the castle moats so that their bodies and the straw would clog up the moat. And that's what they would do. It was an actual battle tactic.
And that's literally what I've been getting at.
Well, I can use a first level spell to knock everybody away 10 feet, and then with my free object interaction, close the door.
Of course.
She could possibly counterspell it.
If there's people... Sorry, Hangouts froze again. If there's people behind them pushing, and there's enough people behind them pushing, you're not going to be able to knock them back.
Yes, I am. That's what the spell does, period.
If there's if you thunderwave someone and there's a door and there's a wall behind them, do they go through the wall?
Creatures aren't walls.
But if you put enough force behind something, it's the same thing. It's like Noah said, you clog it up enough, it's the same thing. You get what I'm saying, right, Noah?
Yeah, I guess for me, though, it's less of an issue about that and more of an issue around, like, are there magical spells that you're going to put in place? Are you going to use, like, shaped stone to close off doors and passages? Are there physical preparations that you're going to make at the tower in advance of the battle?
There are, but we're right now...
So
the whole door thing.
I'm going to probably put a spell glyph on the front door, like right in front of the front door, to Thunderwave, unless I think I can specify certain creatures that it will not Thunderwave.
Why not just, instead of going for the Thunderwave, why not do Wall of Force?
Because she can't get through it.
No, I meant get through it, activate Wall of Force, and now instantly stop.
Well, I can't spell with Wall of Force because it's too low level, I think.
Wouldn't it be too high of a level?
Oh, I can store up to any spell the same level as the glyph. Okay, so yeah, I can do Wall of Force.
But it's still the same thing of where she can't get in then if he does that.
Well, no.
Well, okay, so let me see. I can I decide what triggers the glyph when you cast a spell. So I can make it so that any humanoid that isn't one of us who crosses it Because she isn't humanoid, correct? Like she's a construct?
Well, is your goal to keep her out or
No.
to keep the army out?
My goal is to keep everybody except her out.
So you could always just set the, I mean, the timing would be the issue, but you could set the glyph to go off after she passes the threshold.
The issue is when she passes the threshold, does she push the massive amount of people in first?
No. Like the wall of force is a great idea. So I can put up a contingent like spell glyph wall of force to stop anybody from crossing the doors that aren't her. So like when a non-Epoch soldier or whatever steps onto the glyph, it'll just throw up a wall of force and stop them from coming through.
But again, then we hit the problem of she can't get in.
Yeah,
Right.
the wall will still be there once it's triggered.
Correct.
I'm still.
And then I tell her, through the wall of force, no. Well, the only person coming through this door is you. And then I close the door, and then we're cut off from time. And then I set up another spell glyph, another wall of force, and do it again.
I mean, she has an advantage over us.
Which
She's
is
a Warforged.
Yeah.
And
We have nothing but time.
So do we.
We have nothing but time too. Like
Yeah.
So
again, that's what I'm trying to get at, is that whole no, you come alone or you don't come at all. It's just a stalemate. We're just sitting.
Eventually her soldiers are going to need to sleep.
Doesn't mean she needs to. It
Well,
doesn't mean she needs to
again,
leave.
So every time you close the door, time would pause, and eventually you guys would be like 88 and be all like, I'm gonna keep glyphing.
We're gonna die of old age.
All right,
She's not.
Let's say, how many people do you think she really is going to bring? Just how many people do you think she's really going to bring?
I don't know enough about her to say. I know that if it was like, let's say it was Ren and it was a situation where he needed to get in like that, at least
that's why I want to get her. That's why I want to get her mad, right? Like, if we get her mad, then she's going to come teleporting at us as quick as she can around a handful of people.
But
if we just pop out and scry her and be like, hey, here we are, she's going to come with an army that she's prepared. You know.
See,
And I'm just going to say
that's
this.
the thing. You're assuming that because she's mad, she's going to make bad decisions. I can point to Oda Nobunaga. Oda Nobunaga literally fought almost every battle he ever fought angry.
Mm-hmm.
He died because he got surrounded in a church. And there's actually a theory where he might have not died in that church. It might have just been his retainer's body, and he snuck out the back.
Okay, that's great.
But what I'm saying is you can't go by...
In general, people make bad decisions when they're angry. Like one fucking example from 300 years ago doesn't negate in the entire philosophy of
but what I'm saying is
psychology. Sorry.
I'm just going to say this. Even if she does come through, and she does come through with a couple of guys, it's going to be tough. It's going to make the battle tougher, but I don't think it's going to make it completely impossible. I don't think she's going to come with an army or endless number. She's probably going to come in, like, at most, maybe 10 people if she's normal teleport.
Yeah, agreed. And I think
those guys are probably low enough level that the monks...
You're also forgetting something else she can use.
What's that?
The time wraiths. Yeah, we haven't fought them in a while. It doesn't mean they don't exist anymore.
I don't think she can control the time wraiths.
You know what? I'm done. It's 12. It's 6 after, and I'm tired of this being called an idiot to my face and just scorn coming from you. So I'm done. Bye.